We shall be commencing the program in the next couple of minutes and kindly stay tuned with us. A warm welcome to all the participants who are on the virtual mode as well. I'm sure you had a wonderful day yesterday and we look forward for your kind participation today as well. Just hold on and stay connected with us for the next 1 or 2 minutes, please. Thank you.
Check.
Namaskara ellarigu. A warm welcome to all the participants who are present here, both on the physical and on the online mode, for the second National Women's Conference being conducted at Namma Bengaluru. We are at Sheraton Grand Bengaluru Hotel at Brigade Gateway, and we are very happy to once again welcome you for the second day's session. The theme for the National Conference is Inspire Women Leadership and Accelerate Progress. We move on to the first technical session for the day 2, significant role of women directors and company secretaries in corporate sphere. I request the MC, C.S. Prasanna, the treasurer of Bengaluru chapter, to kindly take over from here. Thank you all so much, and I'm sure you have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Great good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are honored that you are all here. I welcome you all, the esteemed guests, member participants, also the virtual participants, to the second day of the 2-day National Women's Conference of ICSI, driving the theme of Inspire Women Leadership, Accelerate Progress. I am Prasanna Bedi, Treasurer ICSI Bangalore Chapter, and your MC for this third technical session, which is significant role of women directors and company secretaries in corporate sphere. It is indeed a golden opportunity for each one of us to enrich and enlighten ourselves. Without further ado, let's dive into our promising schedule for this session. I would like to request moderator for this session, Mr. Manoj Purbe, Central Council Member ICSI, and Mr. Praveen Soni, Central Council Member ICSI, to escort our esteemed panelists to the dais, please. The eminent Dr. Ashok Kumar Mishra and our own beloved fraternity members, C.S. Savitri Parekh and C.S. Sujata P. A round of applause for our moderators and the panelists, please. As a mark of our welcome greetings, we would like to present a planter for each of our esteemed panelists. I would request Mr. Pradeep Kulkarni, SIRC Chairman, ICSI, to present the planter to Dr. Ashok Kumar Mishra. Dr. Ashok Kumar Mishra is a council member, government nominee of ICSI. Dr. Ashok Kumar Mishra is a distinguished fellow at Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs, government nominee in the Governing Council of the ICSI, independent director of ICAI Registered Values Organization, and professor of practice, law and finance at Jamia Hamdard, New Delhi. He retired in 2023 as a technical member of NCLAT Principal Bench, New Delhi, on elevation from the technical member NCLT Bangalore. He has over 40 years of extensive professional experience across various levels of central and state governments, including quasi-government entities in accounting, finance, contract management, licensing, and legal domain. He led resolution of major litigation with government of states of Karnataka and Odisha involving the financial liability in excess of $2 billion that had been pending in various judicial forums for 15 to 20 years. He helped in converting cash deficit manufacturing units into cash surplus units by various strategies. He has prepared standard contract documents for all the defense PSUs and Ordnance Factory Board as per the direction of Ministry of Defense. Prior to judiciary roles, he worked as board member, director finance of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, which is a Navratna defense company. He has also authored a book titled A Practical Guide to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016 and a compendium of Honorable Supreme Court judgments vis-a-vis NCLAT judgments under IBC 2016. He is a graduate of Commerce and Law. He also holds a postgraduate diploma from IIMB, and he is a PhD Finance LLD and a fellow member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He was also awarded the Best CFO Award in Public Sector category by the ICAI for the year 2015. Let's hear it up for Dr. Ashok Kumar Mishra. I would now request Mr. Parmeshwar Bhatt, the immediate past chairman of the Bangalore chapter ICSI, to present the planter to CS Savitri Parekh. CS Savitri Parekh, Company Secretary and Compliance Officer, Reliance Industries Limited. CS Savitri Parekh has over 30 years of experience and is currently working as the Company Secretary and Compliance Officer at the Reliance Industries Limited. Prior to joining Reliance, she was the Senior Vice President, Legal and Company Secretary of Pidilite Industries Limited for 9 years. She has experience in multiple jurisdictions overseas and has worked in many fields such as outsourcing services, private equity fund of the Future Group, and in many of the media houses like Business World, Telegraph, Anand Bazar Patrika, and in various other sectors. She has led the arbitration against Movendo, established a proactive legal team, increasing the recoveries from the overdue debtors, set up in-house capability to handle acquisitions, established systems to have a lean legal and secretarial team and have cost optimization, and has established systems and tools for compliance management and board processes. She has appeared and argued independently before Select Committee of the Government on Drug Price Control Order, Press Council, Enforcement Directorate, Trademark Authorities, DGFT, etc. She holds a graduation in Commerce as well as Law and is a fellow member of Institute of Company Secretaries of India. She has been a guest faculty in various Indian Institute of Management for over 10 years and has also authored 3 books on Companies Act 2013 and on listing regulations. One of her favorite quotes, which ma'am wishes to share with us, is to carry out a positive action, start with a positive vision. Let's hear it for CS Savitri Parekh. I would now request Mr. Vishwas Hegde, the Secretary of the Bangalore chapter ICSI, to present the planter to CS Sujata P. A round of applause. CS Sujata P, Executive Vice President and Company Secretary, Cholamandalam Investment and Finance Company Limited. CS Sujata P practiced law in Madras High Court under Senior Advocate Mr. T.V. Ramanujam, Chennai for about 2 years prior to joining Chola Company. She has been associated with Chola since March 1995, and we just got to know at the backstage that she completed 29 years just yesterday. Let us hear it for CS Sujata P. Her vast experience comprises fields of secretarial, compliance, corporate legal, and risk management functions for the Chola and its subsidiaries. During her corporate career, she has handled several complex transactions, including joint ventures, IPOs, rights issues, private placements, QIPs, merger and acquisition, and sale of company, etc. She is a member of the Management Committee, Assessed Liability Management Committee, and Disciplinary Committee of Chola. She is also the chairperson of the Prevention of Sexual Harassment Committee for Chola and its subsidiaries. She holds a bachelor degree in law from Madras Law College and is an associate member of our own Institute of Company Secretaries of India. I now hand over the dais to Mr. Manoj Purbe, Central Council Member ICSI, to facilitate the third technical session for us. Over to you, sir.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning. So it is the early morning time, and we have with us legend of the industry, company secretaryship, and the topic given for today's session is absolutely remarkable one. And this concept of women conference in itself shows that we have 50% population of women. So very much conceptualized and very much effective things for us. Again, with the today topic, significant role of women director and company secretary in corporate sphere. So I think today we have percentage terms we can say from 6% in 2013 and 18% in 2022. So, okay, it seems to be okay. Not the perfect one. Growth should be not like that. Why 22%? If we have 50%, so growth is only 22% in the industry segment as a woman director. So we people come forward and we are going to deliberate with our panelists why it is so. Theory is something, but why not happening practically in practical terms? So we are going to know the nitty-gritty of these things through the voice of these two panelists and our respected sir. Misra sir is also going to, he is one of the independent director. So he is also going to give the practical insight of this topic. So we are going to start the session with this thing. I am going to have some questions with these panelists. After my questions, my Praveen co-coordinator, moderator of this program is going to ask some other questions. And at the end of the session, you people have the questions if you have with our panelists. And after that, we can conclude the session. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We'll start with a session on the topic given significant role of women directors and the company secretaries in corporate spheres. So what we are going to discuss here in today under the topic is absolutely about the role of the women directors, how we are playing into the industry, as well as the role of the company secretaries into the corporate scenario, corporate sector, and how we can be a big strength and pillar to the corporate industry in the growth and development of the industry as well as the nation. We have the eminent speakers as a panelist along with us, including my co-moderator Manoj Bhai. We'll take up the session. I'll take up the session and request Savitri Madam to let us give the opening remarks on the topic given, as well as how the company secretaries in general can be a big tool to the board while the helping hand to the promoters to achieve their goals and their vision about the industry, about taking their company at a higher level. And not only as a compliance officer, as a part of the entrepreneur, wherein we are showcasing ourselves not as an only as a compliance officer, governance professional, but as an helping hand to the industry like an entrepreneur. So this is something my request to you, madam, and over to you for the opening remarks. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much, Praveen, and thank you very much, Manoj. Um, First of all, it's indeed a pleasure to be here addressing this second national convention of women. I was there at the first one also, which is the reason I didn't want to miss the second one. Thank you for inviting me. It's a very important topic and significant role of women and the question which Praveen has posed. First of all, I would like to state that when you're working in a company, in an organization, it's not just working for a particular role in particular, because the larger objective is the company's vision and the objective of the company. And for doing that, one needs to understand as to where exactly you fit in the value chain. It's not just about driving deep into what you need to do. Like, for example, the manifestation of a compliance may be in the form of filing of a form, but the role of a company secretary is not for filing of the form, it's for ensuring compliances. It's essential to understand your role in your own terms, in your own way, because this understanding of the role will help you discharge your functions in a more effective manner. You have a very significant role to play, but you need to internalize it and understand it. I often hear people talking in terms of filing of forms. Filing of forms, as I mentioned a little while ago, is a manifestation of the compliance. It's more like a relationship between value and behavior. Value is the core. Behavior is what is seen on an everyday basis. Similarly, it is essential to understand the role in a proper manner so that you walk your extra mile to be able to do that, to be able to bring in the secret sauce which makes you the rallying point in a board. Talking of role of a company secretary, the board of directors, especially the directors who get inducted onto the board initially, the first point of contact is always the company secretary. So how do you strengthen your relationship? It's not about a position, it's about a relationship so that the person feels that you're the person who's going to be able to answer all those doubts of his or hers. It may be with respect to papers, it may be with respect to a query on a technical issue, or whatever. It could even be with respect to accounts. Would they be speaking to you first? You may collate the information from someone else to give it to them, but are you the first point of contact? If the answer is yes, you would be able to enlarge your scope of professional work, and in the bargain, you also have a learning journey. How do you then contribute to the success of the discussions and deliberations at the board? Of course, in the Companies Act itself, there's a very specific provision where the independent directors discuss at their separate meeting as to whether the information flow is sufficient and timely. What is important is talking to each of the directors, just getting to know as to whether there's something else that they want additionally to be given to be able to decide on a particular issue. It's not that with respect to every agenda item you're going to be discussing this, but you need to evolve a practice whereby you would be able to meet the needs of the directors so that they are confident that whatever has been placed before them is sufficient for an effective decision making. In this process, you ensure that you get the maximum out of the board, and you would also be able to play. But where is this role of women coming into the picture? Now, women by nature, of course, are always very hardworking, and they go into the minutest details. But it is necessary to be able to relate to people and network in the real sense, in a positive sense, so that you're able to meet the requirement. Don't wait for someone to ask you. Create those proactive systems whereby you would be able to meet the demand even before it is articulated in terms of words. One of the other things that I would just like to specifically mention about is typically women would wait for someone else to join them in a team. Let's say, for example, there may be a project which may be happening in a company. Men would just easily join in, saying that even if it's a young boy who's just joined the company, he would just walk across and say, "Can I also be a part of this team? I understand nothing of it, but I would like to learn." Very often, women wait for someone else to tell them and ask them as to whether they want to be part of the team. Raise your hand. Don't wait for someone else to call you to make you part of the team. That's the way you learn. Very often, when the CVs were all being read out, I'll talk about myself. Whatever was being said, it's really very nice to hear. But at the same time, I also began one day green behind my ears, not knowing the processes. And I would like to share one experience of mine where I appeared before the trademark authorities. I used to handle trademark when I was in the pharma company. And there was an occasion where the consultant had given up the file and the hearing date was fixed. I understood nothing about the process of hearing, but I knew the theory as to what my strong points were. I went and I argued. There was a person representing the other side from one of the law firms, and I argued my points. He gave his counter arguments, and I again spoke. And at which juncture I was stopped by the hearing officer, and he said, "No, no, no, this is not as per the process." I understood nothing about the process, and therefore I apologized and took a step back. To cut the long story short, I won the case, and I also learned about the process. What I'm trying to say is it's not always necessary to be 100% right. Take the first step, and you would definitely learn, because you're not waiting to be perfect. You're not afraid of failure, and therefore you start tasting success in a higher measure, in a better way. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. I'll come to you, Mishra sir, for the opening remarks and to just put light on this topic given for the session. Please, over to you, sir.
Namaskara, namaskar, good morning, salam alaikum. So, it is a great opportunity given to me by Mr. President and Mr. Dwarikanath, President ICSI, Mr. Narsimham and Mr. Dwarikanath, Bangalore, that I am before you. I was also not thinking, first of all, I was thinking what to speak. Alka ma'am, while I was coming, she told me the topic, we will have to speak on the topic. Then recently we got some study project from National Commission for Women, that the status of red light areas and all those things. So that seminar we were organizing, so I took out that paper and immediately jotted down a few points that based on that it is better to tell you. More than talking on the topic, same topic, I can tell you with my experience, I'm thankful to Mr. Mr. Praveen, who has given an elaborate detail where I worked, how I worked, what is my background. Let me tell you, these things are not permanent. These are very small things. When you will grow in the life, you will understand. Only thing, your hard work, your devotion, your sincerity, your network, your presentability skill set will help you. Because I was never knowing that being a director of finance and CFO of HAL, when I will superannuate, I will become it. I will join a quasi-judicial body like NCLT. And then I will be also elevated and become NCLAT. So far from NCLT to NCLAT, only 3 persons have been elevated, and I am one of them. It was sheer I think it is my luck, or maybe my better half luck, that it has brought me to this level. But let me come to the topic. Now you see where we are, ma'am, because you are all my sisters, brothers. In some role, you all are serving your respective organization. I will be talking on data. Today I have decided that I should talk more on data. That data will not only give you an insight, your scope, your career path, because here it is written that role of women directors and company secretaries in corporate sphere. I have got certain, particularly I feel because the way the company secretaries are knowledgeable, it looks to me not very comfortable that you see sometime that you are a company secretary. Your study material I have gone through roughly. You have got all the learnings which a chartered accountant learns, or a cost accountant has background, or a management school students have. So don't restrict your area as a company secretary or a din pin man or a woman. Don't restrict your area to this. So now I will speak on the data, and then you yourself will understand where are your fields and where you should think of. Now, first of all, let me tell you, in a population constitution, 48% Indian population comprises of women. And I am with proud privilege being a member, government nominee in ICSI, I can tell you that ICSI is constituting 49% women, whereas this city has only got women, working women only 39%. So let me praise ICSI Council that they are taking due care for all of you. As far as women, I will go to the role. First of all, I will give you some data. Women now hold 20% of all directors' position of the board of the 200 largest company of the world. So you are not less. 20% of all directors' position. In India, also in 2013, it was only 6%, which has gone up to 18% in 2022. 95% of Nifty 500 companies have one female director. Now, Fatma Begum, 1892 to 1983, was an Indian actress, director, and screenwriter who she is often considered the first female director of Indian cinema. These are the backgrounds, preliminary backgrounds. Now I am telling you about judiciary. 30% of the women are judicial officers. You should have a proud privilege that you are constituting 30% in as judicial officers. 11.5% judges are in high courts. Women, I am talking about the female. 11.5% judges in high courts, 10% judges in Supreme Court. Your population is bit less only in advocate, you are 15%. This is a great area where some of you can really go for a judicial officers. And as a judicial officers, you can see where you are and you can grow. Today, I invited last time the Supreme Court Judge, Madam Hima Kohli, in our Jamia Hamdard, certain functions were there. So she was also speaking about that we are not becoming extrovert. You have to become extrovert. What Ma'am Sujata just now has mentioned to you, because you have to go and ask for work. And it is very difficult in India, somebody will come and invite you. You have to be bold enough to demand, to look into the area, unrelated area. I still remember when I was in HAL, I was asking my chairman, why you are not asking company secretary to be the part of the FGFA, big programs. Company secretary should be part of all the programs because you know the intricacies. She has correctly mentioned just now that you act as a bridge between the shareholders and the management. Unless you are involved in almost, you are supposed to be involved in almost all the activity. First, who will ask you question? First, the person will ask question from you. Now, I am again going for data only. First of all, let me complete the data because I tried to link up the data. Now, according to Harvard Business Review, out of the leadership of 2,000 of the world's top performing company, there were found only 29, that is 1.5% of CEOs who were women. And percentage on the Fortune 500 global list, your directorship content is only 2.6%. Then I can also tell you, however, that you are constituting only 18% of GDP, whereas you are 48% of the population. Recent study by National Family Health Survey has mentioned that it can be increased to 30%. Your component can be 30% of the GDP instead of 18% if you all are allowed to be given free hand and allowed to work fully in whatever sphere you want. McKinsey has conducted a study where they are telling that if women, gents, that this thing is what we are, gender diversity is not there, then the world GDP, global GDP will go to $28 trillion, and presently in India from 3.7 or some billion dollar, it can go up to $7.7 billion, 18% higher expected. In 2023, women nearly made 53% of the employable population. 10% of the startup you are constituting. I am telling about the women only. Now, unfortunately, 65% of women face challenges in accessing formal banking due to socio-economic hurdles, whereas 72% of men reported having an account at a financial institution. If I go on giving you the data, then women school teachers in India outnumber their male counterpart according to the Unified District Information on School Education Report for 2022-23. Out of 96.8 lakh teachers in the country, 49.2 lakh are women. Women continue to be underrepresented. This is an area where you can enter. Women constitute to be underrepresented in India's higher education leadership despite nine-fold increase in the government expenditure on the sector between 2018 and 2023. You constitute only 1.4% of professoriate, means as lecturer, reader, professor, you constitute only 1.4% and 3% as vice chancellors. This is an area where you have a lot of scope. While in all categories of academic positions, women are underrepresented but nowadays something is coming up, both professors, readers, and lecturers. Now, what I will like to tell you, and I will like to caution you also, that average number of women on board is 1.03 in NSE listed companies. 51% of all women directors holds a master's degree and above, and 38% hold bachelor's degree. Independent women directors are 58%, and non-independent women directors are 42%. So, constituting all these things, I still remember what Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Sahab has said, the best measure of a nation's progress is the way it treats our women. And our Honorable Prime Minister has also mentioned that we should have a vision of empowering the nation with women-led development. I am not going on the legal side, that I have written because my time is only 10 minutes, so I am not covering. What I can tell you today, when you are becoming as directors or company secretary, again I am citing you a report. Kindly keep these things in mind when you are working as women directors and company secretary. Sometimes you will have multiple pressures, pull pressers. Be alert. I am quoting from a certain report. Scrutiny of women in business should be no more or no less than that applied to their male colleagues. We have had an Elizabeth Holmes, the youngest female self-made billionaire who created Theranos and who was later exposed on SAM. Now Birgit Bonnerson, who became the first female chief executive of a big European bank, Swedbank, and was later dismissed for her involvement in a $135 billion euro money laundering scheme. Why I am cautioning you, I am not giving you Indian example, you all are knowing that. What happens sometime, even when you are performing as one of the best performers, sometime family pull and pressures or maybe relatives pull and pressure will come. Kindly don't mingle both two things together when you are as a woman director or a woman company secretary. There are insider trading, there are many more concepts because these scams will emerge suddenly. Neither you will understand or I will understand. And people can make hundreds of stories and it will create a problem. I am again giving you a report from a research work done in this Western world. Even those women who do make it on the top spot face additional market and media scrutiny. A study by Darden professor Erika James reported in Strategic Management Journal found that a stock in a company drops after announcement of a female CEO, but not after that of a male CEO. And this effect was stronger for outside CEO women. Erika James has also found that journalists reference gender more when writing about newly appointed women executives than when writing about men. Let me praise in presence of all you, Madam Sujata. She is heading corporate department of one of the largest conglomerate of India. I know how much pull and pressure she may be having. Because I have worked, I know all these positions being directors and also at judicial officers. I still remember when some of you were appearing before me in NCLT, so many of my colleagues are here to whom I am remembering their face, maybe I have missed their name. Because in the world it is said in the European study that at one point of time you can remember only 3 things. So maybe that I have forgotten some of your names also. I have seen all of you can do a tremendous thing. So what I will tell you that it is not that you will not become director or because the government is telling that one woman director should be in the specified class of company. Don't expect this. Never go for, I remember in one of the conference I was told why woman is not getting a reservation. Then I was on the other side. So I told with 48% population, why they will ask for a reservation? They are not less stronger than the other counterpart. If they dominate in the house, why can't they dominate in the organization? So I strongly oppose that. And let me tell you, always believe in your strength. 2 areas are very important for your career growth because don't depend upon only on a company secretary or one job. I am telling you, you have got lot of openings in judiciary, lot of openings in educational institutions. There is no dearth of, even in the Jamia Hamdard where I am 60% of the total lecturer, assistant professor and professor put together, around 60% is women. Why not? Okay, that is a particular group or institution, it can happen. But always it can grow and there is lot of career. But when you are handling the job of woman and company secretary, kindly be cautious about this because I am not going through the law part. If you go, there are 12 sections, more than 12 sections, starting from section 149, 150, 152, 154 to 158, 164, 165, 169, 168. All these sections are giving you a broad outline. And first of all, I will also tell you, when you are reading the law, when you are reading the law, there is a difference between may and shall. Because I remember recently somebody told me in one of the non-profit making company, or you can say the of Section 8 company, that a director is to be appointed, so their name is to be taken from some independent director bank maintained by IICA. It is not the requirement of law. In my opinion, the word even in section 150 is may, although a notification has been issued by government in June 15 where they have exempted it. So there are cases when you read, always read from Bayer Act. Never read from any author's books. Always read Act, and if you read the Act, when you are appellate counsel, you have to read differently. When you are in trouble, read differently. The same section can have a multiple meaning depending upon the situations, and you can always answer and run in a flying color. Thanks. Jai Karnataka, Jai ICI, Jai Bharat.
Wow. Sir has set the tone for this panel discussion. And as you heard about the so many datas about the women things, but still one more panelist left with the initial remark, Sujata ji. So we are going to her about the this women things, the topic which we have. So Sujata ji, please.
A very good morning to all of you present here personally and virtually. The turnout here is what we are trying to achieve in every boardroom. It's excellent to see there is at least about 80-90% women out here. So the data that Dr. Ashok reeled out is all there for us to see. When the regulator introduced one woman director as a mandatory provision 10 years back, how far have we traveled from there? Whether the needle has moved? Definitely we've traveled. We've traveled quite a bit. The law has been successful. Whether we can do better? Definitely we can do better. There is room to move forward from here. But the first barrier that was to be broken was to see a woman director around the table. There was a time when it was only for mutual favors these boards were happening. And alongside this change also happened the introduction of the concept of independent directors, corporate governance responsibility. When all of that happened and when this was made mandated, nobody could actually ignore. So the law could only bring us this far. Yes, in 50% of the companies, it is still, we're staring at one lone woman director. But is that all? There are, again, another 15-20% to add to the data that Dr. Ashok shared, where there are more than 2-3 women directors. Because today, the role of director is not only to look at growth, number, products, geography. The role of the board itself has changed. So alongside the women directors who come into the board also need to be equally equipped, not just with the secretarial knowledge, legal knowledge. There is quite a bit of qualitative aspects that is today on the table for the board to decide. So apart from the growth and business and products, you're also required to look at environment, culture. The diversity itself is a big topic. Information technology, cyber security, risk. It's a whole lot of topic. So where are we missing out on this? And why is it still a mandated provision? Why haven't they seen, even though there is data to prove, they've even done a study of companies with women director, without women director, in the sense more women director. And they have showed that there's a significant profitability, ROCE improvement in companies with more women directors. All of that is data driven. But there is still a lot of reluctance. That is the order of the day. The reality is still that. But the law always is an evolving one, right? It's just been 10 years since it is introduced. If you look at this percentage of 20, vis-a-vis, where are we on the senior women leadership? The huge gap happens there. We were able to achieve this 20%. 1 out of every 5 women in the board today is a woman is a big thing. Whereas if you look at the senior women leadership, I'm sure Savitri will agree with me, there's a huge gap there. So unless we start addressing that as an issue, the flow from there to the board is going to remain a challenge. So when we see at least about, like he said, 50% of the population is women, 50% of the consumer for any product is women. So why is there a scarcity when it comes to leading roles, when it comes to CEO? The issue is actually real and is staring at us. So when I see in our own companies, we see a large number of youngsters joining the company. And when their progresses at the middle level, there's a bit of a dropout. From the middle level, the transition to the senior level, there's hardly anything. The movement from there, if I say is 10, 15% at the middle level, whereas it could be about 30% at the initial level. The movement to the senior level drastically drops to 1, 2%. It's actually pathetic. So where are we losing out? There are several issues, there are several hurdles to be crossed before we move there. So I'm sure we're going to be discussing some of these aspects here. But the law has been successful, I would say, in my view. We have reached this far, and we can definitely progress from here, because boards today are no more uncomfortable in having that woman director there. Even though in some organizations it may still be the mandatory thing, women have started actively participating in the board discussions. So it's no more just check the box kind of a situation. Women are respected, their contributions is respected, particularly there are certain inherent qualities. The moment there is a woman around the table, I can tell you, there's a lot of balance in any discussion that's happening in the board. And that is a huge success. So we will take this forward. I'm sure there are a lot more questions. We will discuss it. But my submission here is the law has been extremely successful. It can only bring us this far. From here, it is for us to move forward and see how we can actively participate, contribute to the corporate world. There's a lot to be done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. And rightly said, the law has done its own work, and now it's we who has to take it forward and take to the next level. We are living in a world where we cannot advertise the men's shaving razor without a woman, and Akshay Kumar is promoting for the sale of the sanitary pads. But I wanted to understand, madam, what are the personal or the professional limitations a woman is facing while reaching to the top leadership into the industry? And any practical example which, if you wanted to quote on this, kindly please advise.
Yeah. So like I said, this topic itself is very close to my heart. Women at work. Because at the end of the day, at least till my generation, I'm sure things are fast changing. The next generation and generation after that, the reality is fast changing. The expectations of a woman, whether she's a senior woman leader or she's a CEO or she's a board member, does not matter. The social responsibilities on her, the family responsibilities on her still continues. So I'm sure around the table here we can say whoever has been able to successfully manage both the challenges, either through proper support or family support or the spouse support, has been able to manage. So it's not like there is no women availability, there is no qualified women, there is no experienced women. There are women who are able to equally participate and contribute. But somewhere down the line, like I said, the funnel keeps dropping the moment they keep moving. So that is a stage where there is also a woman getting married, getting settled with children, and then moving on. And they are easily willing to drop the profession, willing to give up their profession for the family, unlike men. So this is just the main reason, as I would say. So unless a woman is very clear as to, it's basically just she. I feel it is just us who need to take that call as to what is it that we want. Can we have the best of both worlds? Why not? We can definitely have the best of both worlds. There are enough women who have been successful in running a proper family, who have brought up kids, kids got married. All of that happens. It's possible. But how much are we willing to give in? How much support, help are we willing to ask back at home? I mean, everyone tries to be a superwoman, it's not possible. There is nothing like a superwoman. It's not possible. Then you will give in at some point in time or the other. So unless you sort of organize yourself very well back at home and at work and switch on, switch off between work and family, this issue will not get resolved. But there is definitely a lot of opportunities out there. Personally, I have seen, because of the inherent qualities of the women, they're more focused at work. I have more women colleagues in my department. I'm sorry about my colleagues will also be listening to this. I see that they definitely have more focus, more dedication. They are the last one to, get out during the office hours for a break. They don't need that break. As soon as the work time is over, they have to get back home. They have responsibilities. So they don't unnecessarily delay papers. So they're very efficient the way they organize. Women have these qualities. They're very focused. They are, and they are inherently very, very transparent and, very disciplined and very plan oriented. So with all of these qualities, which is what is required at the board level. At the board level, what is required is an eye for detail. The tons of papers that are coming to the board today. It's not like the earlier days when you just had a 15, 20-page agenda. Today, it's all reeling in hundreds disclosures, notes, schedules. You simply bombard the board directors with papers. We really feel sorry for them, the amount of, because everything has to be placed on record. Everything has to be, reported. So whether they read it or not, you just dump on them. So therefore, as a woman, I feel, who have an eye for detail, it's a job that is very suited for them. Just like how I find women as company secretaries are very successful. I can say within the Murugappa group, there are quite a few women secretaries as compared to male secretaries. Because the job that is given to them, the way things have to be organized, the way you present yourself to the board, and the way you run the agenda, the information that needs to flow there, all of this is extremely critical and needs a lot of time, attention, focus, and with care, because it's the topmost body of the organization. You cannot go stand there and say sorry. So you better do your homework properly. There's nothing like an error because the moment it is gone there, it's all record. You cannot cut a sorry figure there. So you're extremely organized, planned. So definitely the transformation to a board member is right out there. But how many are willing to aim for that, look for that opportunity is the issue. If you want it, it is yours, is my view.
Well said, Sujata ji. We can sum up the Sujata ma'am, whatever she explained just now. In the morning when we people are in the house, everything is mess up. In the morning when we are leaving the bed. But by 10:30 and 12, our everything is organized, is in order. So this is the way women are performing not only in the house but outside the house as well. What Sujata ji is explaining, so many documents, so many things. And at the end of the day, we have a proper solution to our management. So this way, we are putting our role as a women director and as a women company secretary. Moving further, question to Savitri ma'am. Can you highlight few initiative and development which are being adopted by international regulator agencies to promote diversity, equity, inclusion in the boardroom of corporates in their countries?
So, talking in terms of international practices, all of us are aware that Norway has a 40% representation on the board of women. But even Norway began with a legislation, and that's how they managed to move up. So therefore, I'm absolutely in agreement with what Sujata just mentioned about having a legislation to start, and it's only thus far that the legislation can take us. However, worldwide, the regulatory authorities have seen that it is necessary for them to intervene. Let me give the example of European Banking Authority. Way back in 2018, it was found that there was a disparity of pay based on gender, and therefore they wanted to ensure that this particular issue was addressed, and the central bank came up with a few guidelines. The Central Bank of Ireland has also come up with guidelines on gender diversity and ensuring that the participation of women goes up. In UK, you have the Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, and the Prudential prudential, the PRA as it is called, the Prudential Regulatory Authority, these two authorities have also come up with their guidelines. And in fact, FCA had come up with a consultation paper way back in 2021, which was open for comments. Normally in UK, they leave it open for a long time. It was open for comments right up to December 2023. And sometime in 24, they're going to come up with a comprehensive list of issues. Basically, it's very interesting to see the objective here. They want to ensure that the groupthink is set aside. Typically, if you have only men in the boardroom, there's going to be a groupthink which will be at work. Having a woman, at least one woman on the board, which is what India started with, is the right thing because you're actually going to bring in a different perspective. And having a woman on the board also, women typically would also look at the softer issues, not just the ones with respect to numbers and performance. Performance is of course important. Numbers is what everyone understands very easily, but the humane aspect is something which a woman would always be able to bring on the table. So a woman director uses her position to be able to bring in this perspective, which is exactly what FCA and PRA have also recognized, and they've said that we need to have a wider participation, not just with respect to directors, but even with respect to participation of women in the financial and regulatory compliance side. In fact, for that matter, the Financial Conduct Authority has several guidelines with respect to alerting in terms of frauds. So, when they are talking in terms of women being in the compliance function in the financial sector, financial services sector, is basically to ensure that the risk aspect is also, the risk management is also done in a more effective manner, which is what the consultation paper also says. So you have Ireland, the European Bank Commission, as well as UK, several other countries. For that matter, even in USA, California also passed a law with respect to women directors on the board of companies. In fact, in France, the mandate with respect to appointment of women director is not only applicable to listed companies, they have now extended it to companies with more than 250 employees. So they've taken, that's a very interesting point that they've done. They've taken employees as the base rather than turnover, paid up capital as the case may be. That's quite an interesting point. Of course, in France, you have several legislations which are linked to number of employees. For example, if you have more than 20 employees, you need to have a dishwasher in an office in France. So I think all the regulators worldwide are quite acutely aware of this particular issue of participation of women, and they are taking steps. Of course, the regulatory piece in terms of sexual harassment and the rest are, of course, there in several countries. So I'm not going to be touching upon that. Thank you.
So by taking the cue of this point, what you are saying, so we have in India, our laws is more than 10 years old. So now it's not required to have further extended of this thing because now in practical terms, whatever law we have right now in true letter and spirit, it is not followed nowadays. So further, whether we people not require further strengthening of this particular law?
So I would say the law should continue, but the women who are appointed on the board are not appointed because there is a requirement to appoint. Let me specifically mention that as a director, all the directors wear the corporate hat in the boardroom. It matters little as to whether it's a woman or a man. And the women who are appointed would anyways have been appointed even if the law was not there because they've earned their place in the boardroom. Incidentally, since they are women, they also are meeting the legal requirement. Having said that, this particular requirement is what has made few of the companies, the smaller ones, aware of this requirement, and hence the provision should continue because it is necessary for the law to support. Once the position becomes well accepted in terms of a requirement by the business rather than a legal requirement, Probably at that juncture, it may be necessary to review it once again, but that's going to take some more time.
Thank you. Sir, Mishra ji, I'll come to your question on this when, as a regulator experience.
Ma'am is telling, women in risk management. I suddenly remember in my entire judicial process from NCLT and NCLAT around approximately 7 years, and my HAL experience of 6 years around Director Finance, 5 years then officiating was there earlier. One thing I found, so far in judiciary I have given only one dissent, and in service life I have used only one say power, because in defense, in HAL, there is a rule, if Director Finance is not agreeing to the proposal, and if the chairman approves the proposal is to go to the ministry and it is to be approved by FA of the ministry and Defense Secretary, Defense Production. So once I used that power, that I used women in risk management. What happened in a particular division, we were getting some complaint. Generally, we never pay attention to enemy-benami applications. But it started coming up. So, the concerned person was retiring, then I was told that particular young lady officer, a chartered accountant plus cost accountant has joined. She is in the audit cell, system audit cell. So, we can give the charge to her for the finance. But the managing director of that complex, Bangalore, he was not agreeable to that. He was interested in somebody else to be put up. That is the one case where I prevailed over that. In file, I recorded whatever positive I wanted to write about that young lady officer I wrote. MD also wrote, and then the file went to the chairman. Chairman told, I have no power to supersede Misra's note. He has written so many things, I can't supersede, and either you withdraw your note or I am going to approve Misra's concurrence. Luckily, she was transferred and posted. Within 2 months, she comes back to me. Sir, I am finding some difficulty here, some problem is there. Then I told, what type of things? Sir, I am finding a particular party every month getting one bill, 5 lakh, 6 lakh per month. So, does it relate? Then I asked her, purchase order is there or civil work is there? No, nothing I have checked up. So, I doubt, sir. Then I told you, just roughly point out how much figure and then privately tell and be cautious. In any case, I didn't have much faith in the local security also. So, she provided some detail to me after 6-7 days, and the amount was coming few lakhs. Then I told there is a problem. So I told chairman that this is happening, sir. Some 45-50 lakhs figure is coming up. I have a doubt something is wrong. He told, okay, whatever you feel, you do. So at that time, since I have worked with Mr. R.K. Singh, who is now Power Minister, earlier he was Home Secretary, both of us worked together. He was Home Secretary at that time. I gave him a call, sir, I am finding some big fraud here. So he told to Mr. Rangnath, was the Chief Secretary of Karnataka. He told Rangnath, take care of my Misra should not have any difficulty, it is your responsibility. They were batchmates. So, first of all, I have to provide protection to that lady officer. So I provided all power, whatever was vested in me, full power I gave her. So the amount came up approximately more than 3 crore. Then we gave it to the audit. You see a lady officer within 2 months can found out such large fraud. So what Madam Savitri has told, this is a great point. We commit a mistake. Ladies always go into detail. First of all, lady will not believe. Don't feel, maybe she may not believe her husband also, but she will not believe anybody on face value. She will see full record, and only after that she will agree. Whatever your friendship, your known, all those things are available. But they will see only after checking the record. So I am supplementing her, we in the risk management area, my personal opinion, or including CVO job, I was also CVO. So that job I can tell you a lady officer can do. I will not envy my male part, but I can tell she can do a better job than male. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Women believe in trust but verify. Women believe in trust but verify.
Again, with this thing happening with us as well, after moving to home, after outside anywhere, we go to home and the first questions about the trust, about my verification, is still at this age. So trust is the big issue.
Sir, Mr. Ji, I'll come to the question to you. When we are seeing that nowadays the various huge amount of company secretaries, especially women company secretaries, are coming into practice. Like we have more than 50% of members representing women into ICSI. So when we are having the increase into the number of lady practicing professionals appearing before the tribunal, representing their various clients, so how you feel it, whether they are as a good torch bearers of the profession, and something where you, as a regulator's part of you, where you wanted to suggest about the growth and the improvement, wherein though we can't or we may not be able to compete with the other lawyer professionals, those who are having extensive experience in terms of the representing before the tribunal. But yes, technically we are sound. So how you feel that the women are the torch bearers for the profession, and they can lead this as an for the change as a women company secretary practicing before the tribunal?
Thank you, Mr. Soni. You have raised a very good issue. But if you go by my experience, as I was giving you some data, so I can tell you particularly in general company secretaries and particularly to few women CS who appeared before me. I may not remember everybody's name, but I can tell you her presentability skill set was very strong. Presentability skill set, what I mean, law, we all read the same law. We all interpret the same law, whether we are petitioner side or we are respondent side. But how we present is the value factor. Because suppose, what I have seen in the lady I am telling you, what they will know from the facial expression of the male-dominated tribunals, she will, from the face reading, she will feel whether they are in a hurry to go to the next case. Because, say in a day, we used to have listings, someday 50 case, someday 75 case. Now on the day when it is 75, we are very fast. So from the facial expression, she will read, कि आज तो ये जल्दी में है. So then she will concise her briefing. She will concise her briefing. Suppose she has come prepared for making a submission for 20 minutes. She will tell the same thing in 5 minutes very nicely, how much is required. Whereas his opponent side, suppose if it is represented, I have seen even the senior advocate, it is not good to take his name. So he will start with all history, geography about that case as he has prepared in the morning, some assistant has given. So he will write, we are in a hurry, we have to go to the next case. So in the half of the mind itself, we ourselves decide in the mind because of our irritation, even if his case is very strong. No, this fellow case is nothing. We ourselves will discuss and that judicial member will dictate nothing. That fellow's case is dismissed. Why? Because he has read the face. Timing, how to read a man, how to read a judicial officer sitting in a particular hearing, she will understand the value of the time. So time management is with her. And time management itself gives you a privilege. So what I can tell you, you have a lot of capacity to grow. As I have told you in the judicial side, also they are preferring lady. In the education side also they are preferring. You have a skill set. Most of you are company secretary plus law graduates. So you yourself can act as a change agent. Why our Honorable Prime Minister is telling, let us go through this growth should be with the women procedure. Why? He is also knowing that they can do what Madam Savitri has told, she has told, or both of them is telling you. You have a capacity, but one thing I can tell you, you have to do yourself. First you will move, then only somebody will pick you up. Without your own movement, nothing will happen. She has told correctly कि हम क्या करते हैं, we deal only with that somebody should come and invite us for this. No, you go to the, suppose if a contract management, contract thing is being discussed in the office, you are not concerned as company secretary generally. Suppose they have invited some outside lawyer, senior lawyer. At that time you also go and sit. At least you will learn something. That will give you an energy. What skill set Mr. Soni has just now talked about, it is a skill set is with there, qualification is there, your logic is there. That's why I was seeing your entrance exam syllabus where deductive, inductive logic both are there. So your reasoning power will be strong. Lady herself has a lot of reasoning power. Added to that, logic will further add to you. So concerning all these things, my suggestion is there is no dearth, there is no less job opportunity. Don't wait for that the government is going to increase the women director from 1 to 5, 1 to 4, 1 to 2. Don't wait for that. You yourself have a quality to become most of you as directors. You are a 40 years or 44 years old organization. I think 80 mein company secretary hai na. So you are hardly 43, 44 years old organization. This is your young age. This organization is to grow and grow very fast. So kindly think and expand your role. Don't limit your role to company secretary. Had I limited my role as a chartered accountant only to accountant, then what could have happened? Director finance, CFO, HAN was the maximum thing I could have got and retired. Now current chairman, Mr. acting chairman, who is a director finance, basically Mr. Anand Krishna. We worked together when I was AGM. Now, how a man is to develop, you see. So you have not only to groom yourself, but also groom your juniors. Generally people feel fear from juniors. ये हमें ना supersede कर जाए. Don't worry for that. Groom them well. They will remember you. They will help you at appropriate time. So take lead from all this and grow your career. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, rightly said, sir. Our women have everything. Only one point which by God, by nature, this woman have, that is the shyness. This shyness, if you remove your shyness, you can do any wonder. You can do anything. And we have example before us. And apart from that, we have so many things to give these examples. Moving further, my question to again Savitri ma'am. How can the company secretary articulate the diversity of skills that the board is seeking to achieve in its composition? Because nowadays what happening, we not as a compliance person, we can contribute in financial decision, we can contribute in planning aspect, we can contribute in taxation aspect. So these things, how can our company secretary further scale it?
So one is in terms of the board composition, if you're looking at having diverse skills, it is very essential to be able to identify the kind of skills that you require, whether on the board, in the team, or in different teams. I mean, I would talk in terms of board as well as one's own team. Now, even as the secretarial team, there are different needs that you have. It's not just in terms of knowledge of Companies Act. Knowledge is one skill, competency is another. A competency is not just about knowing what needs to be done, but getting it done. You would find there are some people who may not know the law very well, but they are very good in execution. They need to be guided and they would be able to do it. You do require such people in the team because it's not about knowing as to how to run, but to actually run and get a medal. So therefore, execution skills are also very, very important. Now, talking in terms of a board, you would have a skill directory for the board which would have been mapped based on the persons who are being considered for the position. It is necessary to see whether the person is going to be meeting the specific requirement. And also, in terms of one's own team, I liked what Dr. Mishra said about developing the team, mentoring them. And it's very essential because one, if you give if you give them the skills, they would be able to do the job and you would also be able to move up. Otherwise, you would end up doing the same thing over and over again. One of the other things is documentation. If you have strong documentation, of course, it's very essential to distinguish between bureaucracy and documentation. Documentation which is binding you in every respect leads to bureaucracy. But documentation which is basically enabling others to take decisions without having to come to you 10 times is very essential. And that's one area where every service function needs to move up the needle and be able to do it. I mean, our peer review also focuses on this, but peer review is just one small piece. Even in case of employment, it's essential. I mean, what are the hurdles that you faced? How do you ensure that your experiences are not lost sight of? You know, how do you ensure that you document those so as to be able to meet those hurdles if you meet them the next time around? Solution seeking. There are people who are problem identifiers. They are also important in a system, although the focus will be more on the solution seekers. So all these skills will need to be seen. It's not that you only require one. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of story. You need to have a mix of everything. And that's how you work together. And most importantly, culture. This was a point which Sujata mentioned a little while ago. Understand the culture, adapt to it, as well as create a culture which is a learning culture for others to learn and grow. Because if you do not learn, if you do not grow, if you do not give opportunities for learning and growth, it will be difficult to move ahead with your team. And once you've built a team, the team which is happy will always be with you. Thank you.
Rightly said, every individual has own quality, own strength. So we need to identify our own strength, own quality, and move further in the organization wherever we people are working. Please.
Sujata ji, I'll come with the last question. I think we have got the slip from the administration side. So I'll take up the last question, something wherein practical exposures I wanted to have from you. I'm coming from the land of Maharashtra, where it's common says that mulgi sikhi je pragati jhali. And in common parlance, it has been said that ladka seekhta hai, if he's growing, then he's growing for his entire family. But when a woman is growing, a woman is learning, getting educated, वो दो परिवार का तारणहार करती है, एक खुद के परिवार का, एक अपने ससुराल का. So दो family she is carrying with her. So my question to you is, where does and to what extent this education is having correlation with the socio-economic growth of the society as well as the nation, and how this girl education can take ahead the society, and how can you highlight the somewhere where technology upgradation can help in removing or clearing the gender diversity as well as inclusions into the areas of the society?
Thank you. So I think the girl education, I don't think there is any two ways about it, any two views about it. If you see any academic results, be it 10th, 12th, IIT, IIM, public service, everywhere if you see the results of the exam, girls far excel boys. Agree or not?
Agree.
Everywhere it is so. So somewhere it is getting lost. Women education, girl education definitely is a thing that we will have to continue, and the rural education part of it. But where is it getting lost? Why is it getting lost? Is also more because women, like he said, women don't seek. Women don't seek power. Like we see in the ICSI, how many women council members are there?
One.
One. So it's the same one. So the problem is there everywhere because women by nature are lot more, satisfied with what they have. They don't go out and seek. We don't network. I'm saying including me, we don't network. Like one of the reasons, I'll come to that question, one of the reasons why there is also a shortage of women pollers, because post-retirement is when most of these non-executive directors position come up very active. Men are willing to go out and again seek those positions. So anytime we look out for a new induction, we don't get any reference of a woman director. That is a reality. So by default, the choice is not the first choice. So to come to your question of how technological advancements can help, 100% today we are in the new era where thanks to the pandemic waves, the life and work both have substantially changed. So definitely being, more tech savvy, there are enough opportunities for us to learn and to sort of, make our job smarter, faster, easier. In fact, we had this technical session yesterday. We heard about how technology can support compliance. So while that is so, definitely there is a lot to do, and it is going to be a huge, significant impact on the issue that is before us.
Thank you, madam.
If I could just add, talking of women and technology, Sujata, you reminded me of something. Most of you would have read in the papers about the Mumbai Coastal Road. It's the first one which goes under the sea. It's a tunnel road which has been built. It's really a pride for the nation. And the person who was project managing this entire construction from L&T's side is a woman.
That is the history. If you go Mumbai, just see this sea tunnel, and that is absolutely wonderful. And moving further to conclusion part, which is going to done by Mr. Soni ji. Before that, India, our Modi ji has just utilized 50% of the population. Then India is in this position, that is third largest economy. If see the rest of the 50% that you people come forward and contribute, so obviously 2047 we can a developed economy. Please.
Thank you. We'll proceed with the concluding part of the workshop. Madam, I visited to a company in Morbi, Gujarat, which is a watch company. I don't want to name it here, but I have personally visited the plant, and there are more than 8,000 employees are working there. And I came to know, except 1 or 2 people into the board, all are females, including the loaders, including the security, including the transportations, including the people on the reception, and including those who are at the back office. Entire team was led by the women only. And that was quite surprising for me. I personally visited there. So additionally, if I talk about the board leadership, I spent my last 15 years with a company called CMS, and there the majority, I would not say majority, but yes, more than the statutory requirement, the directors were forming from the women's side. So it's a 3:4 ratio, but again, it is something beyond the directorship, women directorship, which was required by the statute. We are having the top leadership of India, who is from Dalit Adivasi, Honorable Draupadi Murmu ji. So she is again leading the topest position of the India. So this is, I think, something now we are reaching to the area where the women are taken on the board, just not because his husband is a promoter or entrepreneur, but yes, as an to giving diversity to the board and giving a different thought process to the board. And yes, when the women are there, men are also in sophisticated manner. So this is something where we are having good contributions from the women on the board, and the days will come, or days are coming, where the women will be inducted on the board, not just because of the statutory requirement, but yes, for the diversity and to have more benefits from the women's exposure into the board. So, madam, with this, I would like to conclude, and thanks to each one of the participants for giving valuable inputs during this entire session. I just wanted to quote one incident which we discussed. Savitri Madam also quoted during the address that yes, women can identify because Mishra ji told they are leading the family, then why can't they lead the board and the corporate? So I just remind of an incident when a child is there, a 5-year child is there and he says, Mama, I love you. Mama says, बोल बेटा क्या खाएगा तुझे क्या बना के दूँ? When he is 15 years old and बच्चा says, Mama, I love you. कौन सी मूवी जा रहा है कितने पैसे चाहिए बोल? And when the same boy is 25 years old and he says, Mama, I love you. क्या नाम है लड़की का? कौन है बता? And when the same guy become 40 years old and he says, Mama, I love you, मैं मेरी जायदाद में से रुपया नहीं देने वाली तेरे को. So don't expect anything from my property. So this is something which a woman can identify without having any agenda on the papers. I am with my whole heart thankful to the entire panelists, those who have contributed their positives by their sharing their experience. And yes, with these concluding thoughts, I once again thanks to each of the panelists for an insightful and informative session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Manoj Purveji and Mr. Praveen Soniji for wonderfully facilitating this session for us. As a mark of our humble appreciation and thankfulness, we would like to present a memento for each of our panelists to cherish for. I would request Mr. Dwarkanath Chennur, Central Council Member ICSI, to present the memento to Dr. Ashok Kumar Mishra. Let's hear it for Dr. Ashok Kumar Mishra, guys. I would now request Mr. Manoj Purbe to present the memento to CS Savitri Parekh. I would now request Mr. Praveen Soni, Central Council Member ICSI, to present the memento to CS Sujata P. What an uplifting and productive session it was. It is my privilege to be the MC for this particular session. On this note, I now request Mr. Vishwas Hegde, Secretary of the ICSI Bangalore chapter, to take over the dais and drive us through the fourth and the final technical session of this particular conference. But before that, let's refresh our minds with a 30-minute refreshing break and a networking session, and we will join back right at 12. Thank you, and thank you one and all.
Hello. Good afternoon to all. We shall be commencing the session in the next couple of minutes. Request all the delegates to kindly come into the auditorium and occupy your respective seats. Good afternoon to all the participants who are on the virtual mode as well. We have more than 4,200 and odd delegates who are on the virtual mode across the nation, and it is indeed a proud moment for all of us to have such a big strength online. We thank you all for your wonderful support. And we have beautiful delegates sitting inside our auditorium yesterday and today. The beautiful ladies and the wonderful gentlemen. We thank you all for participating in this program, making it a success. We also place on record the wonderful support that we have got from ICSI HQ, SIRC, the Bangalore committee, and the staff of all the 3 places. Also wish to announce that the souvenir that was released yesterday has been uploaded on the website. So you can have a look at it, and there are a lot of articles, advertisements, and I'm sure you will enjoy going through the souvenir. Also place on record our sincere gratitude and thanks. I'm sure there's a formal vote of thanks by our secretary that would happen at the end of the session. But yes, our sponsors have been really, really nice. They have put up stalls, and they have always been supportive of many of our varied programs. The particular names of all the sponsors shall be taken by our secretary after the session is done. Yes, so we come to the last but not the least final session. It gives me happiness that yes, we are done with all the stress and tension, but we are also taking home a lot of beautiful memories. And as we come to the end, the most important session, according to me, is about the importance of mental health and work-life balance. So as we move to that, I would like to make the announcement once again that the souvenir that was released yesterday has been uploaded on the website. Secondly, I request all those delegates who have not visited the stalls to please do so after the program is over. And before we commence the program, I regret to inform the sad demise of our past president, C.S. D.C. Jain, who left us on 19th March 2024. May we all raise and observe a moment silence, please. Thank you. All right, so we move on to the last technical session, and it's over to Vishwas, the Secretary of Bengaluru chapter, who shall be the MC for this technical session. And he will take you through the moderators and the eminent speakers who have gathered here today. Over to Vishwas. Thank you.
Thank you, C.S. Devika. Good afternoon, everyone present over here. I welcome you to the 4th and final session of second National Women Conference with the theme Importance of Mental Health and Work-Life Harmony for Well-Being. Myself, Vishwas Hegde, Secretary, Bangalore chapter of ICSI, who would be the master of ceremony for this particular session. Now, I would like to call upon the moderator for this session and also the speakers for this session. I would like to request to call upon our own CS Pawan Chandak, Central Council member, to kindly add on the dais, followed by our speakers for this particular session, Shri Bhakta Vrindadasa Guruji from ISKCON, to kindly add on the dais. Request the Central Council member to kindly accompany him and other speakers also. Our next speaker for this session is Dr. Vasudha Sharma, co-founder Vivekananda Health Global. Dr. Anisha Mahendrakar, founder and director, The New Age Therapist. Thank you. It's our proud privilege to welcome the dignitaries on the dais with a token of welcome. I would like to request CS Venkata Subbarao, Chairman of Bangalore chapter of ICSI, to kindly hand over a sapling to Shri Bhakta Vrindadasa Guruji as a token of welcome. Shri Bhakta Vrindadasa Guruji is a spiritual leader, practitioner, and Vedic life scholar. He has been teaching the timeless ancient Vedic wisdom like Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, Ramayana, etc. for over 20 years. He has been part of ISKCON Bangalore Group management also. He studied BTech Computer Science from JNTU Hyderabad and worked in various executive leadership roles at Microsoft, Yahoo, and IBM. He later became a monk in ISKCON and dedicated his life to serve humanity by sharing ancient Vedic teachings of Sanatana Dharma. We welcome Guruji. Next, I would like to request CS Pawan Chandak ji to kindly hand over the sapling to Dr. Vasudha Sharma. Dr. Vasudha Sharma is an entrepreneur in the field of integrated medicine, an Ayurveda and yoga therapy consultant, researcher, and international speaker with 23 years of clinical experience. She has completed a bachelor degree in Ayurveda from Government Ayurveda College, Bengaluru in the year 1999. She is also a master in yoga in 2005 and PhD in yoga in 2018 from Vyasa University. We welcome you, ma'am. Now, I would like to request CS Vivek Hegde, member of Management Committee, Bangalore chapter of ICSI, to kindly present a sapling to Dr. Anisha Mahendrakar. Dr. Anisha Mahendrakar is a psychologist working in corporate wellness and mental health and the founder of brand The New Age Therapist. Her core belief lies in a holistic approach, recognizing the inherent potential within each person to blossom into strong, balanced, and happy individuals. She has a doctorate in applied technology, MSc in psychological counseling, international diploma in applied psychology, national diploma in life skills training and management. Over 13 certifications on types of counseling and practical application. She is also a UNO awardee for her work in the field of applied psychology during 2018. We welcome you, ma'am. Without any further delay, I would like to request Pawan Chandak, who is the moderator for this particular session, to kindly take over. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Hegde ji. Good afternoon, all. We are at the fag end of this beautiful second Women's Conference, National Conference, hosted by Bengaluru chapter of SIRC under the aegis of, I would say, SIRC. So, the chairman of SIRC, my dear friend, who has ably led along with, I would say, the Bangalore chapter, and our, I fondly called Anna Dwarkanath sir, who we have experienced a beautiful conference today, and what a, I would say, apt last session, the technical session on importance of mental health and work-life harmony for well-being. Friends, in today's complex, not only the corporate life, but the personal life, whether it is a corporate or not, we all are seeing there are various issues, mental issues, there are various stresses, right from whether Bengaluru will win or CSK will win, who will lift the cup, who will buy what, who will sell what, which share will go up, which share will go down. So many things are there, and it is not only related to the life of we corporates, I would say, but in general, each and every individual, each and every life on this earth is touched by this issue. And our rich heritage, the culture of India, I would say, we have already seen that there is a rise of yoga now, there is a rise of meditation now, there are various therapies which were there in our Vedas or various other scriptures, I would say, that the Bhakti, Shakti and all other things are getting coordinated at one place, and it is really giving us the, I would say, right picture of how one should live their life. Not only live their life, but lead their life. Not only their life, but the helping hand for others to live a happy, fulfilling and satisfied life. On this note, what I think is today's session on importance of mental health and work-life harmony for well-being would definitely help all of us to get the navigation right of our lives on the ultimate journey for the peace, satisfaction and harmony. And we have very good panelists, I would say, right from the psychologist, the preacher of the Hindu and Bhagavata, and I would say the nutrition and what not, everything. So this is a very apt panel to discuss all the things, and I'm sure with the deliberations which would be happening today in this last technical session, we would gain immense direction towards our fulfillment of the ultimate aim of our life. So let us start. First, I would request all the panelists to speak their heart out on the topic with, just wait. The address be given by all the panelists on importance of mental health, work-life harmony for our well-being. And for this, first I would invite Sri Bhakta Vrindadasa Swami, spiritual leader, public speaker and mentor, ISKCON Bangalore, to please express his thoughts on this topic. Hello, hello.
So you're all sitting, so I thought let me stand. Okay, so I would like to welcome all of you, and I would like to thank the institution, especially Mr. Dwarkanath ji, Program Director, for inviting us here. And I would like to thank all the members who are participating here. So, there are two important days in anybody's life. First, we all know. What is the first day? Yes, that we all know. What is the second important day? Not death day. That we don't recognize. The most important day is the day you question why. The day you question why you are born. So, the life education is the most important education. We may have great degrees in mathematics or physics or chemistry or commerce. Your motto, what is your motto? Speak the truth, abide by the law. I'll speak the truth from the scriptures. What is the truth? What is the reality? That every human being must know that. So life education means, yes, we have governance, corporate governance and everything. How about self-governance? The Bhagavad Gita begins with self-governance. A person who controls other people is powerful man, correct? Who controls others is a powerful man. Who controls himself is the most powerful man. So everybody chasing, I want to control, I want to be the leader, I want to be the leader. First, you learn the art of controlling yourself. So where do you learn that? Which university teaching you self-governance? IITs, IIMs, or Ivy schools, Princeton, MIT, Harvard? I gave talks at all these universities. They don't teach. That is the purpose of a temple, to teach you life education. Don't go to temple to see God. Go to temple to know God. By knowing God, you understand everything phenomena around you. Everybody eager to go for darshan with a selfie. How many people go to temple to understand God? Who is God? What is my life? What I am doing in this world? So, it's very important for all of us. Then Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, Mamevamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manasasindriyani prakrutistani karshati. What is the meaning of that verse is, prakrutistani karshati. Everybody is suffering. Where is suffering? We think, oh, company problems, financial problems, family problems, relationship problems, domestic problems. Problems are everywhere. But Krishna says all problems inside you, sangarshana. Largest battles are happening inside you with your own mind. Self-governance. So that is the reason one scientist who done PhDs in America and he came to India and he went to his village. He asked the village man, can you please take me? The river flowing, cross the river. Yes, sir, I'll help you. Then in the journey, he asked the boatman, hey, do you know neuroscience? Sir, I don't know. I know only water and boat. I don't know neuroscience. 25% your life got wasted. Oh, really, sir? Yes. Then after some time, the scientist asked, you know metaphysics? What is that, sir? I don't know. 50% life got wasted. 50% life wasted. He started puzzling, scratching his head. 50% life got wasted. Then after some time, he asked, you know the solar system? I don't know what is solar system, sir. 75% life got wasted. Then boatman thinking, I don't know purpose of living. 70% life got wasted. So somehow conversation going on like that. Suddenly there was a thunderstorm, heavy thunderstorm. And the water started getting into the sea, boat. The boatman asked the scientist, sir, do you know swimming? I don't know swimming. Sir, 100% life got wasted, sir. So, you may know all the knowledge, but if you don't know how to handle life, it's a failure. It's a failure. So today, the theme is women empowerment. Even we call Krishna, we don't call Krishna. What we call? Radha Krishna. Do we call Rama? Sita Rama. We call Narayana as Lakshmi Narayana. So even Lord is being addressed by women first. Isn't it? You see the whole creation. Radharani represents the goddess of devotion, bhakti. Aradhyate Radha. Radha word comes from Aradhana, worship, how to worship, devotion. You see Mother Saraswati, mother of learning. You're all sitting here getting paid because you're selling your knowledge, isn't it? If you go to IT companies selling their IQ, everybody is selling their knowledge in this world. But who is giving the knowledge? Mother Saraswati. Who doesn't want wealth? Raise your hands. If you raise, we'll take you temple, okay? Everybody wants wealth, right? But who controls wealth? Lakshmi. Lakshmi, controller of wealth. She is woman. Who controls the nature? Parvati. You see the whole nature and wealth, knowledge and nature, they're all controlled by women. So all men, be very careful when you go home. So the respect should be nature teaching us how do we deal with women, how to respect women, creation aspect, everything coming there. Not only that, even Hanuman's mother, Anjana Devi, even Narada Muni's mother, even Krishna's mother, Devaki, Rama's mother, Kaushalya. So if you see the history, even we do horoscope, isn't it? Jataka. 27 stars. Who are those 27 stars? Next time you find out, homework. They're all women. Moon god, moon's wives, 27. They controls your behavior, aspect, everything. Nakshatras, 27 nakshatras, women. And if you see even the whole Dwapar Yuga time, Kunti, since the Woman Empowerment Day, you see Mother Kunti, single mother, lost her husband but very engaged. A single mother raising a child is the most difficult job without husband's support. Mother Kunti raised the Pandavas in the jungle, but she taught them dharma, taught them the value system, taught them the principles. Even God, even Krishna stood by the Pandavas because of Mother Kunti's parenting. So that is the role Kunti played. That Kunti says, after the whole Kurukshetra war, she's seen extreme struggles. Her own family members cheated when her lost the husband. It's a very difficult situation being a royal family, leading a simple life, very difficult, isn't it? Even living in a Bangalore city, in a very big communities, if somebody kick you out of Bangalore city, keep in a village for 1 week, you'll become panic. Pandavas, 14 years they gone through Vanavasa, but Mother Kunti gave them the moral strength. The woman role is very important in anybody's life. That Kunti says in Bhagavatam, Vipadaha santuha sashva tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yasya apunar bhava darshanam. Kunti says, my dear Krishna, please give me more problems. Can anyone pray here like that? Be careful though. If you pray, Krishna will bless that. So, but Mother Kunti had the internal capacity to handle that. It's called self-awareness, self-realization. She is saying, my dear Krishna, give me more problems. Problems attack me. I will hold on to you more tightly. When a problem tries to crush me, I'll hold on to you more tightly. There's a reason even the vast ocean cannot sink the ship unless water get inside. How many of you seen Titanic cinema? What is the lesson? Not the romance. What is the moral lesson of Titanic cinema? Even you see the Titanic ship was very tiny, isn't it? When you compare with the huge ocean, but it sailed through. But when the water got inside, it sank down. Until then, you see, vast ocean cannot sink a ship unless water get inside. Similarly, ocean of problems cannot crush you unless you let inside. So where do you develop that capacity? How do you develop the capacity that the problems may attack me? Mother Kunti stood by the problems. Even that time, Dharmaraja, head of the eldest son, want to give up the war. He said, Beta, how can you give up? Even Draupadi was publicly humiliated. If somebody makes some wrong comment, neighborhood, you'll become panic, isn't it? You want to revengeful mood. You want to become like Lord Shiva, to take a revenge on him. Somebody make comments on Twitter. It's very difficult. Humiliation, insults, very difficult to handle. But Draupadi handled everything because of her devotion. There is a reason Bhagavad Gita gives you that capacity to handle the outside problems with clarity. It will help you decision-making ability. It also help you how to handle failures, adversities, calamities, challenges. Not every day is a flowery path. You have to go through troubles. You have to go through the failures. You have to go through different types of situations, unfavorable things in our life. But what is your weapon? Nobody is giving a weapon. You thinking, I will handle it, my mind. No, mind is the biggest enemy if you don't know how to navigate it. Arjuna said, Krishna, I can control the direction of the wind. He is saying, I can control direction of the wind, but I cannot control mind, Krishna. So the strength is not outside, strength is inside you. So now you see a king who had 4 wives. Of course, it's not easy to deal with one spouse in Kali Yuga, isn't it? Not wife means not wife though, spouse, husband or wife, whoever could be. So king had 4 wives, but he very much attached to the 4th wife. He was pampering her, giving her the best comforts, the best luxury, everything to the 4th wife without any complaint. He loved her the most, 4th wife. Then the 3rd wife, he used to take her around whenever he wanted to travel the globe. But he had a fear, she may leave me anytime. But still he was giving utmost love to the 3rd wife too. Life was going like that. When there is a problem, challenges, he used to go to 2nd wife. Oh, can you please help me? I have some difficulty. 2nd wife used to do counseling, advisory kind. Hey, don't worry, you can handle this problem like this. He used to rely on 2nd wife. Then 1st wife he ignored. He had no attachment to her. The time was passing like that. Old age attacked him and he had to give up his body. He was lying on deathbed. He wanted a company. How can I go alone? He called the 4th wife. Hey, I pampered you. I given the best comforts, best diamonds, everything given you. Best delicacies, best food. Can you please come with me? He said, no way. That guy heart started shaking. Oh, I gave you the best thing, you're rejecting me? Yes, no way. She left, she walked out. Then he called 3rd wife. See, I've taken you everywhere. Can you please come with me? I'm dying. I'm going alone. 3rd wife said, no, all the best. I will remarry. That guy again started crying. Oh, you want to remarry? Yes. Life will be very good. I will remarry. Don't worry. All the best to you. Safe journey. Rest in peace. Then he called 2nd wife. Oh, you always helped me when I was in danger. Now I am in dying situation. Can you please help me? Can you come with me? What did she say? Yes, I wish I could help you, but I will do very good funerals for you. Nice feast to the audience. Good funerals I could do for you, but I cannot come with you. But he was crying like that. Suddenly he heard the voice from the 1st wife. I will come with you. The 1st wife became very pale, very weak, neglected, and he started crying. Oh, you want to come with me? Never, I always rejected you. She said, no, I always loved you. Everybody's life is like this. We work day and night for the 4th wife without considering anything in the world. What is the 4th wife? Your body. Isn't it? Branded clothes, branded food. Everything wanting the best class now, organic, everything is coming nowadays. Best food you want to give to body. But the fourth wife is what? After you die, is no more thinking about you. Chalo. It becomes the food for animals and insects. The body we pamper, the body we care, the body we bathe, the body we decorate, that body will become the food for small insects and everything when you bury the body. What is the value of a body when soul leaves? Chicken got some value. We don't eat though. Mutton got some value. Animal flesh got some value, right? What is the human flesh when soul leaves? Can you keep your loving dear person in their home after soul leaves the body? Even for 4 days? You keep chapels. You don't keep the dead body. What is the value of the body? This body, everybody is working like a crazy without considering the value of life. So fourth wife like your body. Everybody is working for that. It will become food for the insects and bacteria. And this third wife, we always have fear. What is third wife? We take wherever we go. And what third wife said? I'll marry someone else. That is your wealth. That is your possessions. That is your asset. That is properties. You work so hard to earn wealth. After you die, wealth will go to who will the owner? Your children, family members, somebody else. That's a remarry. Ownership will change. Your wealth will be owned by somebody else. You don't own anything. You work so hard, it doesn't come with you. Can you take 1 gram gold at least? 1 gram at least? At least 1 gram sand. You may have 10-acre farmland. At least 1 gram sand. Nothing come with you. And the second wife. We always go for counseling and help and everything. Who is the second wife? Your family. They come only to the graveyard. They only do funerals. They cannot come with you. Their second wife. What is the first wife we always neglected? That is yourself. That is your soul. We don't have time to understand who are we in the body from morning till evening without understand who we are, working very, very crazy way. There is a reason you need to have a balanced life. We don't say give up everything. Balanced life. Understand who are you. Understand identity. Then you work everything like that. Keep that is a larger goal. Self-realization is a larger goal. Then everything can fit in there. Professional goals, family goals, and other domestic goals, everything can fit in there. Then life, there is a purpose to live. Without knowing the purpose, you're having everything. What else we are doing? Last week I got a message. A person who did PhD in Columbia University, and he's a CEO of a company, global company. He messaged me last week that Swamiji, I feel a wideness, emptiness in my life. I don't find the purpose. I just want to give up my life. He got the best of the best in this world. That's the reason mental health is very, very important. Immediately I called him. Then he started reading Bhagavad Gita and everything, and now he's getting better. So my request to all of you, don't neglect yourself and spend some time to understand who you are. Understand what is the journey, what is life, what is birth, what is death, what is mind, what is karma, what is kala, what is nature. Ponder on these aspects. Then you'll become a courageous person like Mother Kunti, courageous person like a Draupadi. Being a woman, they stood by. Draupadi, 14 years, she stood by the Pandavas. She never complained. If you take your spouse away from comforts and luxury for 10 days for a trekking, what will happen if you don't give proper food? Draupadi has seen the luxury. She lived in the jungle for 14 years. 13 years in jungle, last 1 year in Virata Parva, in incognito. Draupadi became a maid servant, being the queen. Sometimes life is not flowery. Unless you have a self-education, spiritual education, then there is a possibility. As the scripture says that, Yasham Vaishruya Mayanam Krishne Paramapurushe Bhaktirutpadjate Pumsaha Shokamoha Bayapaha. So Bhagavatam says that Yasham Vaishruya Mayanam, who has eagerness to understand what is life, what is God. For such person, bhaktir utpajyate pumsaha, it sprouts up. The light sprouts up, then what will happen? Shoka means miseries, moha, illusion, bhaya, fear will run away from your life. There is a process. Then you become fearless, you can become courageous. Situation could be anything, they cannot crush you. You develop the internal capacity. That is the purpose of spirituality. That is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. So I request all of you, please go home and take Bhagavad Gita, create a new habit, at least from this year. Open Bhagavad Gita, that is a life education. You are going to invest time for your own self. Rest all, whatever you do for a fourth wife, third wife, and a second wife, they cannot come with you when you leave this world. So make your life perfect. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Life is not an ice cream. Let me enjoy it before it melts. Life is a candle. You make sure best value of human body, then your life will be very meaningful. You will be able to contribute to society. You'll become the ambassador for society. So there is so much you could do if you understand your own self system. Whole Bhagavad Gita deal with that system. Soul, what is the self, what is the body, what is the mind. Even the great intellectual people breaking down. You see, even the great celebrities. Recently I was hearing, even Deepika Padukone. She was sharing her depression. She was crying in four walls. She didn't know what to do. Whole world, whole India chasing, oh, Deepika, Deepika, Deepika. Isn't it? People are running after celebrities. But look at in their personal lives. It's very difficult to maintain stability. Very difficult to maintain a composed state of mind unless you have a larger understanding of life. They're crying in four walls. That is the reason, don't think that if you get right job, if you have right promotion, if you have right compensation, right package, right salary, life will be wonderful. No, I'm sharing with you. I talk to many CEOs daily basis. You see their life. Great achievers, but sometimes, they don't know how to channelize that emotions, how to vent out those emotions, how to channelize how to handle adversities. Those things crushing them. They're finding no purpose. This is the reality I'm telling you all. So it's not to scare you, to prepare you. So Bhagavad Gita is the best navigator for you, the best coach for you, and the best medicine for your mind. You'll be able to handle very, very successfully. That the real success of human being is who can handle these things, who will be unshaken, who become a dhira means unshakable. Whatever education we are getting, it is crushing you. So I request all of you, hold on to Gita. That will definitely transform you. It's not information, it's a transformative journey. So once again, I would like to thank the institution ICSI for inviting us here. And I would like to pray God to give you all good strength to handle your journeys much better way with the help of a weapon, Bhagavad Gita. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Swamiji. The way you expressed yourself, including the Bhagavad Gita and various incidences from our life, it will definitely help us to navigate our life with the help of Bhagavad Gita and principle taught by Lord Krishna. Now I move to Dr. Vasudha Sharma Madam, who is a co-founder Vivekanand Health Global. I request Madam to please express your opening remarks as regards the mental health and work-life harmony for well-being, which is the topic we are discussing today.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, a big thank you to the organizers who invited me here. Well, let me begin with a note. First of all, thanks Swamiji for the foundation he set, because spirituality is a life skill. Now, I'll just take you to the practical journey. Now, he's given you a big tool, which is Bhagavad Gita, and all of you should know that yoga emerged from Bhagavad Gita. So when we say this, why am I specifically talking about yoga or Ayurveda? That is the domain I come from. when we see patients, we always feel, no, why are they not navigating themselves? Why have they not developed the life skills? Each and every person is a unique human being, and each of them need a personalized approach. And this is where we talk about integrative medicine, where we bring together the Indian traditional systems of healing. That's the weapon which we talk about. And Swami Vivekananda also says, your body is a weapon. So you have to use it the right way. And he also said, Swamiji also said, that you have to grow from inside out. There is no other teacher but your own soul. It's such a powerful statement because we are saying that you have to develop. We are not saying we all together will develop, right? That's the connotation you will have to draw from, because each person has his own set of wellness within himself. We just have to explore. We just have to understand, how do we do this? Now, Ayurveda says, by definition, what is the definition of health? What do all of you understand? Who is a person who is healthy? Anybody? I mean, let's just talk out. You can be louder. What's the definition of health? Is it just physical and mental well-being? May not be. It's much beyond that. We say, and quote this from the Ayurveda text, and it says, Samadosha samagnischa samadhatu malakriyaha prasannatmendriya manaha swastha ityavidhiyate. What is swastha? What is health? What is swasthya? Swastha is the person. Swasthya is health. Samadosha. So we say that the Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Now, most of you know this now because Ayurveda is definitely a little more popular than what it used to be a decade ago. Samadosha, they have to be in balance. Samadhatu, there are 7 tissues in our body which we say should be at balance. Samagni, what is the digestive fire? Now, all of you had a break. Next, you're all going to feel hungry. Hunger is a desire which tells you that, come on, attend to me. Otherwise, you can sit here till 4, 3, and those of you who've got a headache tendency will start feeling that there is something happening in your head. So this is where you have to attend to yourself. Okay, this is where we say samagni. Understand how do you balance your digestive fire. Likewise, samadosha, samadhatu, samagni, and then you have malakriyaha. You have to go and eliminate the waste products on time. Not only this, we talk about prasanna, atma, indriya, manaha. These are the 3 key points for mental health. Prasanna, happiness, atma, okay, your soul, because especially Indian philosophy, we talk a lot about atma, right? And we need to understand, if there are non-believers here, I think it's because you have not understood what we say when we say atma, indriya, all your sense organs. You're all listening to me, okay? You're all seeing me, you're all seeing all of us. Now, what is the coordination? Something nice, something vibrant. Oh, the hall looks beautiful. Okay, she's talking sense, she's talking nonsense. So many things come to your head. Now, you have to balance out your sense organs and then your manas, the mind. Okay, is mind perceivable? Yes. Can you define mind just scientifically? You may not be able to, but it's a thought process. And that's why yoga says, yogaha chitta vritti nirodhaha. The chitta is your mind and lot of thoughts. Now you're sitting here, but you have to be, diligent enough to raise your hand. I'll post a question saying, how many of you are attending to us? How many of you are thinking, oh, you're all company secretaries, I understand. You have a lot of baggage with you. How many of you are thinking, saying, oh, I need to complete this. Today is a Saturday, I have to get back to probably a director of the company on Monday. Now, how many are thinking others? 50% thinking something else. Do you want to raise your hands? So nobody is thinking. If you're not thinking, then it is very good. So I can just see a couple of hands here and there. So it's okay. That's just in a lighter note. Okay, so this is what happens. We have to channelize our mind to say that how do we work and build ourselves? This is how we build our personality. I can see 80% women. Women have a lot of health issues. Okay, as a teenager, maybe your daughters have a different issue. You had the same set of issues when you were teenagers. Then as reproductive health type, they want to conceive. There are another set of challenges. Now, infertility is in race. Now, why is infertility in race? Because you're not able to balance the mind and the body. So when couples come to us, they probably go and undergo 2 IVFs, 3 IVFs, some of them directly. And the challenge is, how do you actually bring the mind-body connection, what we call as mind-body balance? And Ayurveda clearly says, Saumanasya Garbhadharanam. That means your manas has to be in the best state for you to attain pregnancy or conceive. So this is how we have to understand in depth that the mind-body relationship is very unique, and we have to build that connection, and that does not happen just like that. Now what do? Some discipline. We talk about lifestyle, right? What time you sleep, what time you wake up, what time you eat, so many things. Now, one of the most important part in the lifestyle is your physical activity, whether it is yoga, walking, running, so many things. And we talk about dinacharya in Ayurveda. What do you do from morning till evening till night? All this. All these are theoretical. So let me just tell you that when it is applied, then it is the beauty, and that's where you explore and understand how powerful tools these are. So as simple as you had a conference yesterday and today. Maybe many of you did not find time to do 20 minutes of some physical activity which you otherwise did. Some of you have not been doing at all, okay? So 3 months and you start setting goals. No, now New Year just went by, right? January, we are in March. Many of you would have set goals. No, this time I'm going to take a membership in the gym. This time I'm going to do a yoga session. I just have a yoga class next door. So many. Now what is it? Why are you doing this? Because you have an intent. You have an intent, and you know for sure that physical activity is important. But just the intent is not enough. It is important that you advocate it and put it to practice. So a 20 to 30 minutes of physical activity, at least 5 days a week, is definitely considered very important for any individual to grow in all dimensions. And that's where mental well-being can be restored. Because we see many of them saying that, I am at stress. There is probably a person from an IT company in a very senior role. He's constantly at task. He needs to be at task, otherwise he cannot deliver, he's answerable, so many things. So when that consistent stress is around you, it is never a eustress. That means it is never a positive stress, but it is distress, which is leading to a lot of problems inside. So when stress continues, then maybe at a later stage you feel that you're diabetic, that is your blood sugar levels probably are going up. Now what can you do to break this? Follow some discipline, understand what you have to do, because there are a lot more things which can go very well with your lifestyle. So you always have to take opinion and suggestions from doctors or professionals in the field who can help you very well. So I conclude with this, but I just want all of you to experience a 1-minute practice which can tell you a lot beyond 1 minute, because it will tell you how you feel mentally when you just do a 1-minute practice. That is why I did not take the podium. So just give me a minute. So as and when you are, so I think you just have to stretch yourself, okay? Stretch your legs forward, and you can take off your slippers if you're okay, otherwise you can keep them on. We're going to do a very simple technique which is called instant relaxation technique. What it will do, it just relaxes your muscles. You can feel the change and understand, and of course we can discuss further. You just have to follow my instructions, okay? Don't try to think beyond what I'm trying to instruct. Just ensure that your back is rested to your chair, your legs in front, and just now close your eyes, bring all the attention towards your feet. Please close your eyes, gently close your eyes, get your attention towards your toes. Now, start tightening your toes, tighten your ankle, tighten your knee, pull up your kneecaps, tighten your knee, tighten your thighs. Now take a deep breath in, squeeze your abdomen in as you breathe out. Now push up your chest, squeeze it towards the chair, push your back to the chair. Now make a fist of your palms, tighten your whole palm. Now squeeze your face, tighten your face. Now tighten the whole. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Release and relax. Now gently open your eyes and take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Once again, take a deep breath in and breathe out. Now concentrating on the abdomen, take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, chant a loud akara. Breathe in. Thank you very much. So this just tells you how you can incorporate simple techniques. That doesn't mean that IRT is enough for the day. Okay, so you have to do a lot more beyond that. Have your own tools. We are all here to talk and guide people to say what are the tools we follow, and each of us will definitely add on to these tools available as life skills, and this is going to enhance your mental well-being. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vasudha. Actually, you interested your whole this thing address towards a fit body for having a fit mind. Unless and until we have a fit body, fit mind won't be there. And for having that, you gave us certain tools and also small exercise, which was really refreshing. Thank you. So I now move to Dr. Anisha Mahendrakar, who is founder and director at the New Age Therapist. So I request you, ma'am, to please give your opening remarks. After you address, we will go for a few questions and also any questions from the audiences. So please, over to you, ma'am.
A very good afternoon to everyone. So thank you to all our eminent speakers who have laid a wonderful foundation of what we are going to be speaking about. I was looking at the sessions that have been happening from yesterday and even today morning. There were a lot of statements that said, women are very strong, very powerful, you need to go out there, make things happen, isn't it? We heard a lot of that. And there were a lot of tips and techniques also shared, where people said, if you incorporate this, it'll work out. You should try to make your routine in a different way. Yeah? So I want to ask, most of our audience over here are women. We are in a fantastic month called March. It's fantastic not because it's Women's Day, because it's your children's exams. Yes? How many of us are worried about our kids? Studied well, didn't study well, what is happening, etc. Now, I want you to rewind 2-3 days of your life and see if the men in your house were equally worried. They were not. There are a lot of gentlemen over here today, and in the morning session, we were speaking, it was a technical session, I understand, and we were talking about women representation in council and panels. Am I right? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yes? And a lot of them said women are not there. So the question is not that women are incompetent. We are not creating the right environment for a woman to step out of our house. Have you noticed that? If a man has to go to a meeting at 8 a.m., it's very easy for him. Wakes up at 5, 3 hours of routine, and he is done. If a woman has to go for a meeting at 8 a.m., some of you are raising eyebrows as I'm talking. Oh my God, it's a lot of work. I need to wake up. I need to wake up the kids. I need to wake up my husband, cook for him, clean for him, give instruction to the maids for the rest of the day, and then hurriedly get ready and move. And even while I'm in the meeting, 9:30, my kids, bus will come to pick it up. So I'm the one coordinating. Doesn't it happen, ladies? Yes. So when we talk about women empowerment, it's not just about women making up their mind to do something. What are we as a group, as a society doing to make it easy for them? That is the question. So today we are discussing about mental health. And a lot of them say, there is high rates of depression, high rates of anxiety, high rates of stress. So do we know why this is happening? Any idea? Let's not blame the corporate work style, because the corporate work style is something we have made up. We have told we have to be there, check in at 9 a.m. and check out at 5 on paper, but you're actually checking out later. We all know that. Yes? So it's the corporate lifestyle that we have made up. So mental health starts not just with what about me, what about me, what about me. We always do that, no? I need a break. I am stressed out. Can we think about what I can do for others as well? We all come from a family, at least of 3 or 4 people in our house. Apart from the women who are doing their regular chores, is there something extra that other members of the family can do to pitch in and make life a little easy? Then maybe we can actually encourage women to step out of house and take on their true potential. What do you think? Yes? So how do we start that? Do we go around telling men, you do the chores? No. Yes? So basically, it is a responsibility that is taken by the family members. So when you're talking about mental health is not just what you do for yourself. It is also the kind of change, the kind of environment you're creating for other people. So we work with some of the corporates, and there's a very common thing that we have come across, a pattern, right? That's what psychology is about. We recognize patterns and we help you overcome them. The pattern is most people do not want to employ women who are in their late 20s or early 30s because they are scared tomorrow she'll get married. She will quit the job. Am I right? And the worst case scenario is after you have a child. Nobody wants you back. So this is where I would like to share some statistics with you. A woman, after she becomes a mother, you have any idea how much of stress that she goes through? The same amount of stress probably a mental asylum patient used to go through in the 1950s. That's what that lady is going through at home every day, and she has no Sundays off, right? So if you want somebody who can effectively manage your organization, looking after any uncertainty that comes, then you should probably hire a mother who has come back to work after a baby, because nobody understands uncertainty like her. So there are a lot of conferences we do in the month of March. Let's empower women, what happens in April? Back to square one, right? So what I would like to say as a mental health expert, as a psychologist on the field, we have a very common adage in our profession in psychology. We say that a lot of our clients come to therapy because there are other people in their house who need therapy but are not going. Yes? When I said that statement, a lot of you identified people in your house. So, mental health is not something that you do just for yourself. Please, let's understand that. Mental health is about creating an environment. So when a man or a woman, for that matter, works 9 to 5, 9 to 7, whatever your hours are, they want to come home to a peaceful place, isn't it? So if you're going to make your house a war zone, where every time the person steps into the room, steps into the house, they have questions that are bombarded on them, they will not want to come home, isn't it? That's why you stay out. That's why you have created a corporate lifestyle that says work family is the family, isn't it? We all talk like that, right? So this is a major imbalance that we are seeing, is we are focusing, like Swamiji was saying, we are focusing so much on the fourth wife and on creating, importance and giving a lot of importance for the second and the third wife of our life. We forget that there is somebody called the first wife, and that is your own mind. So this is where we come to a mindset. Ma'am was talking about techniques that you can incorporate. But before the techniques is one basic thing. It's about what you think, right? A lot of us were looking at our watches today as the sessions were progressing. Why were we looking at our watch? Not because it's super expensive and you're able to afford it, but because mentally you're telling, what time will I have tea? What time will I have lunch? It'll take me 2 hours to commute back, 1 hour to commute back. Today is a Saturday. Yes, all these thoughts are running, isn't it? So planning is going on. This is the nature of your mind. You will never be 100% in the present moment unless you're on a roller coaster ride or you're bungee jumping. One of these two, you're 100% there. All the other times, we're constantly thinking. It's called parallel processing. Now, because of the fast-paced lifestyle that you and I are a part of, we very quickly jump to worst conclusions, don't we? Your friend doesn't pick your call after 3 rings. What do we think? You don't like me anymore. I'm using a very safe word called friend here. Those of us who are intelligent will substitute other words also. Isn't it? That's what we think, right? But is that the reality? No. So your mind has a particular tendency of sticking to negative. If somebody makes an announcement today saying that there is going to be a hurricane in the next 2 hours, all of us will panic. But someone comes and says that Lord Krishna has decided to appear here, how many of us will question it? All of us will question it. Why? How? Why here? Why now? So this is the tendency of the mind. You hang on to the negative first and you question the positive. So you have to keep a watch on what you think. When you wake up in the morning, if you're going to say, oh my God, what a horrible day, your day will definitely go horrible. And this is not, I'm talking from a metaphysical point of view, it is highly technical, this is physics. Yes? So, I'll give you an example, right? Suddenly, let's imagine that you want to buy a car, you want to buy a new car. What happens in the next 3 to 4 days? Whenever you're commuting, you start noticing cars of the same brand, same color that you want to buy, correct? Did it magically appear there? No, you're becoming aware. So whatever you put in your mind, you will become more aware towards it, and when you're more aware, you take better action. So if you wake up from the left side of your bed, 10 minutes late than your normal time, what is the thought process you have? Today is a bad day. Correct? I woke up late, I will get late. You keep thinking negative. And the rest of the day will follow. Everything that happens to you, you start looking only in the negative. And when this continues over a period of time, it becomes a pattern. When someone gives you a compliment, you can't take a compliment. When someone says you're looking very nice today, you'll be like, really? Me? Are you sure? So a very interesting thing happened today while I was coming for the session. There was a young lady I met, and I've never seen her before in my life. And she stopped me, and she looked at me and said, you're looking very beautiful. I said, thank you. Do I know you? And she's like, no. But I just wanted to compliment you. How often do we do this? How often do we stand and appreciate things? How often do we take a compliment? So that is a question we really need to ask ourselves. Mental health is not something big where you have to wait for a depression or a suicidal feeling for you to think about it. It is something how you live your day-to-day life, right? There has to be a balance. Yes, we all have adversities. We all have uncertainties to deal with. But it starts with your attitude. It starts with how you take it. Is today a bad day, or today are you going to make a difference? So when you wake up in the morning, even if it is 15 minutes late, doesn't matter. Tell yourself, maybe something magical is going to happen today, right? And I'm going to be a part of it. And see how your day will change, right? So with this, I'd like to conclude saying that mental health is not something out there. It is in your life, every living moment, and it starts with your state of mind. Thank you.
With every address by the panelists, we went deeper, deeper and deeper into the concept of well-being, and I'm sure I'm equally excited also, not stressed, I am definitely, equally excited to have the discussions with all the panelists on the topic of today's deliberations. So I will ask one question one by one to all the panelists. So I'll start with Dr. Vasudha. Vasudha ma'am, while lifestyle and mental health are linked, okay, experts agree that mental health is determined by combination of biological factors, life experiences, lifestyle factors, and family health history also. So in that case, could you please shed light on how mental illness develops with life experiences?
I think though there are a lot of factors, like Mr. Pawan just mentioned, how a person comes to us saying, I have a lot of anxiety. What happened in COVID? Everybody was scared. There was a lot of fear around. And some people could tolerate the fear, some people could not moderately tolerate, different sets to this. But the reason is, when we start feeling the fear today, maybe for some reason, tomorrow, maybe a week later, a month later, the fear comes back again. Now, this fear could be as simple as, a person has to do a presentation. He was very good. He has a, business meeting today, and he has to present to his managers, and all the stakeholders of the company are there. Now, I'm giving you real life examples of where we hear from patients as well. And then he says, today, doctor, I just could not do anything. That's why I had to meet you today. I just went blank. I've never, ever this has happened to me. So it is such a, worst scenario for him as a person, because he is looking at this business meeting to promote himself, to give a kind of idea to his stakeholders that I'm the most competent person to the role you're looking at. And he falters that particular day with what? No presentation. Now, why has this happened? Because the fear factor went on with him, and he did not attend to it the right way. He was probably doing yoga, he got over that, and he stopped thinking, I'm very good, and then it came back again in about 3 to 6 months, but without his knowledge. So likewise, it is therefore, these are the ways in which it starts percolating in it. So drop by drop, like we say, makes an ocean. Your mental well-being or a mental health issue like an anxiety, panic attack, depression is also showing signs, but you probably don't see the signs. So if you have any small little issue, like I just mentioned one of them, or you might see that today I'm not feeling motivated, the same repeats. Okay, in women, it repeats before your menstruation, premenstrual tension as it is called. So you have to notice this and go to a health professional to recognize at the right time, and definitely don't allow it to become an ocean. So that is what I would like to say.
Thank you, madam. Swamiji, what are your thoughts on the roles does stress management play in holistic living? Along with that, please also share some effective strategies for reducing stress and promoting relaxation.
So, if you don't manage stress, stress will manage you. So, in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna had great abilities, great skills. He was universally famous. He even conquered Lord Shiva. His Gandiva, when 10,000 people cannot lift. Such a powerful man, there was a breaking time. When he had to perform his duty, he broke down. Abilities and skills can take you to top position. If there is no character building, you cannot stay at the top for a long time. That means you need to have a strategy. How do you channelize your emotions? Suppose this is a simple glass. All of you can lift this glass, right? A small kid can do that, isn't it? If I ask you, Dwarkanaji, can you lift for 2 minutes? Oh, Swamiji, yes, I can lift. I ask him to hold for 5 minutes like this. It'll be little, there is pain. Can you hold for half an hour? Can you hold for 1 day? It is not about the weight of the object. How long you hold on to the object. It is not a thought. It is not about adversities which crush you. How long you contemplate on those situations. So there is a lesson here. So if you keep on contemplating on those challenging situations, you are making yourself heavy, 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 heavy. That pushing you, the weight is pushing you, not the weight of the object, the time you carry. So it's very important for all of us to vent out, to offload. How do we offload? It's any physical we can offload, no? Mentally, how do you offload? Can you buy any medicine on Amazon? I want to offload. How do you offload emotions? You need a tool, you need techniques, you need a teacher. Arjuna was filled with those emotions. He didn't know how to handle those emotions, how to channel those emotions. He approached Krishna. We need a spiritual teacher who can counsel us spiritually. One thing we have to understand, IQ is not very much important nowadays. EQ is far more important than IQ. A person who has better EQ will be the great leader. Google is to hire highest IQ people in early days. When I was in America, Silicon Valley, California days, Google is to hire high IQ people. They realized that IQ people not very good in people skills. They're very good with the computers, but understanding people emotions, understand their own emotions, difficult. EQ, at least channelize their emotions. Beyond EQ is called SQ, the spiritual quotient. That's how we are talking about. If you understand the spiritual quotient, then very easy to channelize your EQ, very easy to channelize the outside emotions much better way. So first thing is what we need a teacher. So Bhagavad Gita is the best teacher, which help you to channelize those emotions. And the second thing is a Scriptures. How many of you read scriptures daily basis? We read newspapers, hours. We are on Twitter, few hours, Facebook, few hours, YouTube, 2 hours, life is over. Where is the time to understand your journey? So, second tool is scriptures, not just a faith. The great experienced teachers, great sages who had gone through those personal realizations, their teachings are embedded in scriptures. The experience is the best teacher. The second tool is the scriptures. The third is association. You need to have a right association. Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nirmalatatvam, nirmalatatve jivan mukti. You have right association with you. You are known by your company. You have negative people around you. Negativity means they praise you on your face. They find a ways and mean to pull you down. They glorify you on your face. But the back talk, make sure how this guy is growing. Let me, asuya, jealous. Even among the brothers is always there. What to speak of co-workers? There's a reason. Saintly association is third important element. You have right association, then you know how to channelize your emotion, how to channelize your feelings, how to channelize your thoughts, and how to be channelize your life much better way. Then there is a harmony. Otherwise, it's very difficult. As I mentioned, even whole vast ocean cannot crush you. Even small. I was here reading a news other day. The wife put extra salt in the curry. Husband got so angry, divorced. In a small salt can make life miserable. That's what I realized. Imagine, I think we can talk to Dr. Vasundharaji. You can ask her. They always, salt will be very minimal if you want to follow a good diet, isn't it? So, you see that channelizing these things the right way, then life will be very sublime. If you don't do that, if you don't follow these techniques, especially great rishis, what they followed, you experiment with your mind, you will be the loser. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anisha ji, Dr. Anisha, question for you. What are the long-term effects of work-related stress and burnout on mental health? Then what interventions can be implemented to prevent or mitigate these kind of effects in workplace?
Okay. So what are the long-term effects of work-life stress, correct? So basically it starts off with irritability. So you get triggered very easily. Somebody comes in the wrong side. When you're driving, all kinds of language flows out of your mouth. Starts with that. Low tolerance. Swamiji was giving an example of where less salt and it led to divorce. It's an example of stress. You are so filled till the brim with emotions, with irritation, with frustration, and you have not channelized it out. You have not thrown it out. You have not found the right technique to throw it out. You hold on. And anywhere and everywhere it falls. Let me give you an example. Just before the session started, we had a coffee break, correct? So we all had coffee and tea in our hand. Let's imagine that tea or coffee is filled to the brim, and somebody while walking by mistake bumps into you. What happens? Coffee or tea falls on them, because that is what you had. If you had juice, what would have fallen? Juice. If you had an empty cup, nothing will fall. So that cup is like your mind. Every day, whatever you experience, small things, big things, all together adds on and fills that cup to the brim. So the first unfortunate person who will bump into you, preferably maybe a family member, you will throw the entire thing out on them. That is what is happening. So a lot of frustration building up. So the major direct effect of all of this is families are breaking up. When is the last time you've had a proper conversation with your family members? Apart from asking, did you eat food? Did you take medicine? What's your sugar level? How did you do your exams? Apart from these 4 questions, when did we actually have a proper conversation saying, how are you feeling? How are things with you? Maybe long, long back. The lower or the lesser these conversations are, there is something wrong. It's a red flag. So there are small red flags that starts, and together all the flags join, and one day it looks like it's a carnival. but the wrong kind of a carnival, right? So the long-term effects, it starts with your emotional aspects. It starts with low threshold, what we call as irritability. You get irritated very quickly. You get angry very quickly. Somebody says something to you, you immediately start getting angry, start crying. Mentally, you start plotting revenge. All kinds of visualizations come in your mind. This I will do to you, that I will do to you. Some of us who are a little spiritually inclined will go on the karmic level. Life will not leave you alone. Yeah? So these kind of thoughts that you get, that's the first sign. Next thing that happens is you'll have, it'll show up as body pain, right? You start having pains, muscle catches in different parts of the body. It's not that you're not eating well. Maybe even though you're eating well, because your mental state is low, your body is not able to take that nutrition. So it feels starved. And that is why you will have physical body issues, sleep problems. You sleep for 8 hours, you sleep for 12 hours. Assuming that if today we didn't have the conference, what would you do on a Saturday or a Sunday, right? You sleep a lot. Most of them do. But in spite of it, you wake up feeling tired, right? Means body and mind is stressed out. When this continues for, let us say, a few months, it will start showing up as long-term physical body issues. India is becoming the diabetic capital of the world. Are we aware of this? And diabetes, mind you, doesn't come because you eat a lot of sweets and chocolates. It comes with stress over here. When there is a lot of stress, there's a particular part of your body called pancreas, and there are certain cells in that called the beta cells which burn out. It just burns, right? So these cells are responsible for regulating the sugar, in your bloodstream. When these cells get eroded, get burnt out, there is a problem with the sugar levels in the blood. And that is how you enter diabetes into your life. Stress-related diabetes, where your sugar levels don't come under 200, right? So, because of stress that you're creating, when you're not able to balance your emotions, you're not able to balance your responsibilities at work, it starts out as emotional issues and it ends up as major physical body problems in a matter of 2 to 3 years. So this itself should be a reminder that you need to look after yourself.
Thank you. Prabhuji, these are the elements which we will be attracting towards us. But how to spiritually, holistically address these issues, and can we have solutions to these problems?
As Dr. Anitaji rightly said, it's all about your attitude. Your attitude defines your altitude. So, you are walking in New York City, downtown New York City, Manhattan. There are 100-story buildings. You cannot even look at them. You get neck pain. But if you travel in a flight, you might have seen Hollywood movies. They look like a small matchboxes. You have to change the perception, how you see the problem. You cannot change the problem. Even a spiritualist, we have problems. But how do we see the problem? Jnana chakshuhu. You need to see the problem with eyes of knowledge. Then the way the angle of vision changes. We are living in a relative world. Everything relative here, isn't it? So that means you have to raise your altitude by adopting the spiritual habits. Good habits, very difficult to inculcate. To learn smoking, you don't need to go to school or college to learn, no? To drink alcohol, what training you need? To stop alcohol, you need training. To stop smoking, we need training. To stop bad habits, you need rehabilitation centers. That means anything you want to develop good, mind resists. Yes, that is the function of the mind. It resists actually. Arjuna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mana Chanchala Krishna. Krishna, I cannot control this unstable mind. But Krishna said, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. We can control the mind with the sadhana, with abhyasa, with the practice. That's the reason we need to have a spiritual habits. It may take little difficult time, but you have to develop, take a step when you're very young. then that will give you the energy, that will give you the stamina to handle, see the outside world problem much very different perspective. There's a reason you have to raise your altitude with the spiritual quotient. Then the problems will not appear like too big like a common man, how they see the problem. Otherwise, problem is common for everybody. That's the theory of relativity. Let lighter note, Einstein says that if you are meeting your girlfriend or boyfriend, when 1 hour appears like 1 second. First time you're meeting, oh, 1 hour ho gaya? Oh, so fast. After you get married, in 1 second appears like 1 hour. Oh, my wife is calling me. Maybe I have a meeting, I'll call back. The same person only, who spent hours talking, who loved her the most. Same person, same relationship. What did change? We take for granted the familiarity. Einstein explained theory of relativity works like that. So, similarly, the problem cannot be changed for a spiritualist, for a materialist. But the way we see the problem can be changed. The angle of vision we have to develop with the help of a spiritual quotient, then it is possible. If you don't develop that quotient, the problem will swallow you like a dinosaur. So we have to develop that internal capacity. You cannot change the outside world. Can you change the outside world? You cannot change. What you can change? Your inside world you can change. What is under your control, you have to work on it. If you work on that internal world, then outside world cannot impact you. That's a Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Matra sparshastu kaunteya sita ushta sukha dukkha daha. O Arjuna, what you see unfavorable things or favorable things, like a seasonal changes. Summer comes, goes away. If you have summer throughout the calendar, will you enjoy that? If you go to New York City, summer means it's like heaven for them after seeing winter for 6 months. Seasonal changes that come and go. Similarly, problems come and go. There's a reason you need to develop that kind of a stability with the help of spirituality. There's a reason that changes the perception about life. Problems, how you see how you approach a problem changes. It all defines your attitude. You cannot buy attitude from. Can you borrow attitude? Can you borrow from someone? We cannot borrow. We can borrow intelligence. We cannot borrow, attitude. It has come with the practice. That is the reason. Spend some time to develop create a spiritual habits. So begin your day by remembering Bhagavad Gita, one sloka or Bhagavatam, or remembering a great personalities. Chanakya said, "You are all business people." Yesterday I was invited by Chanakya University in Bangalore. Chanakya University. Chanakya, we all know, is the father of all. Rajaniti. What he said? Every human being must adopt 3 practices to become successful in his life. The first principle Chanakya said, when you get up in the morning, think about gambling. We didn't tell you stocks, what's going on. Spend your day, raise with the consciousness, thinking about gambling. Afternoon, spend your afternoon thinking about women. It's very surprising, no? Thinking about women afternoon time. I don't know how many of you know, I think Dr. Anita can tell this. When you see, lust is not outside, inside you only. How much time men thinking about these things, impulsive ways, lusty thoughts. There is a research done by Harvard University. The millions of thoughts crosses. Chanakya says, afternoon time, think about a woman. Evening time, meditate on a thief. Then he further reveals the secrets. It's an encoded way. We have to decode these things. Chanakya says, think about gambling in the morning time. Begin your day thinking about Mahabharata. But the great personalities who had gone through extreme struggles, but they become victorious, they stand by Dharma, God stood by them. Dharmo rakshita rakshiha. If you stand by Dharma, Dharma will stand by you. You don't have to go to temple. If you stand by Dharma, God will stand by you. That is a Mahabharata episode, essence for all of us. Thinking about Mahabharata character. Afternoon, think about women. think about Ramayana. Characters of Ramayana, Hanuman. Even it's the character of Ravana. Somebody over greedy, over lusty, it brings about destruction to whole family. Because Ravana greedy, lusty things, whole Lanka got destroyed. There is a great lesson for all of us. Think about Mother Sita and other elements of Ramayana. And evening, think about a thief. Chanakya says, remember Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna's katha, Krishna's pastimes, thief, Krishna's butter thief. He's not only stealing the butter. The great Acharya says, Krishna steals all our bad karma. When you think about him, Sarva dharman parityadhya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami masuchaha. Krishna is not looking for butter in your life. Krishna is looking for the lusty thoughts, the greedy thoughts, the cunning thoughts, the criminal thoughts, what is residing in you. He removes all those unwanted thoughts. If you can spend your day like this, Chanakya advice, you will be a saint, you will be a corporate saint, corporate monk, wearing a jacket and pant and shirt. Monk is not a dress code, it's about attitude, mentality. You can be, all of you can become a saintly people if you change your habits. Thank you.
Very good narrated, Prabhuji. On the same lines, Dr. Vasudha, what do you think if there are some effective self-care practices that can incorporate in our routine, and so that we can prioritize mental health, especially during the stressed period. We are talking too much about stress.
So as we understand stress, and as mentioned earlier, stress is needed for us to grow forward in life, but we should know what is the line we draw to say that this stress is stressing you. I mean, this stress is not for you, it is overburdening your mind, or it's overburdening you. I just can't tolerate. When you feel that, then definitely it is going a line beyond what you think. You know, we have to keep ourselves motivated, and that is where we have to channelize ourselves in terms of our daily discipline. So these are some of the skills or lifestyle practices which you should bring in. On an average, if we consider people are waking up at around 6 a.m., what is that you need to do if you have to go to work at 8:30? And especially, how do you bring in that me time? It's not about male or female, it's for everyone. How many of you tend to skip that me time? So you have to plan, first of all, your day. Yes, 5% may not be in your hand, 10% may not be in your hands, but still you have the 90%, which is very, very important. And therefore, get used to it. You should start feeling guilty that today I have not gone for my walk. That is the stage you have to reach, and that will come only by pushing yourself to get into practice. Today you might have a yoga teacher doing with you. How many days can he or she do with you, right? 2 months, 3 months, 6 months? What about the 7th month? You may be rich enough to pay the person, but still, is that the way you cultivate self-discipline? So therefore, self-discipline, self-motivation is very important for you, and it just comes by practice. You have to believe in this, because those of them who have already experienced this will definitely, say yes to what I'm trying to say. So bring in a 6 o'clock, you wake up, don't take your mobile first, don't try to check WhatsApp, keep that away for some time, and maybe, a glass of water in the morning. You have to have a dietary regimen also. Just not talk about, when we talk about mental health, a lot of what you do physically will also play a role. So simple tips, a glass of warm water, maybe some nuts, have some fruits, do some yoga. It all depends on your time. Then you have to always take a shower before you take your breakfast. This is channelizing your body, channelizes your digestive fire, and ensures that your gut health is good. Most of us don't have any time. Many may do this. You don't have a time for a shower. Western culture says take a shower in the night and go to bed. What does the Indian culture say? Most of us don't like to go out to work if we don't take a shower in the morning. These are some daily disciplines which we call it dinacharya in Ayurveda, which are very, very important. And one of the major ways in which you can control the vata, that as we call in Ayurveda, a principle which can make you feel relaxed, you have to get there. These disciplines will allow you to you can add on, maybe weekly once, weekly twice, depending on your time. Just take any oil at home. It could be a till oil, it could be a coconut oil. Just smear it across your body and just take a warm water shower. You'll realize how it can affect your persona. It can help your mind relax, and that's how you are taking steps to balance your stress. Yes, you can go to a spa, you can go to any other place to take what we know as a massage, but that's not self-discipline, because you can't do it every day. So these are some simple things which you should incorporate, and also look at your diet. What kind of diet you take? Is it too stimulating in its nature? You may have a sleep problem, and therefore you're getting stressed, because when you inadequately sleep, you cannot concentrate on your work. Now, maybe a diet is influencing. You're taking a very spicy diet in the night, and maybe, yes, you might be taking alcohol with that, which is going to top up to your sleep problem. And this is where you just need to understand. So many small little things are in our own hands. We just have to explore and understand. And I cannot get into, into the depth of this, so I'll probably stop at this. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. We are seeing that the mental health is becoming more and more important. At the same time, the cost of five-star resorts kind of health facilities, the yoga or the, let's say, Panchakarma Ayurveda, these treatments are becoming more and more costly. And this is also making one of the decisions whether to go for those therapies, those courses, those recourses, I would say, for the health. On this background, I wish to ask Dr. Anisha that how does socioeconomic status influence the access to mental health resources, and what steps can be taken to address disparities in mental health care?
Actually, to be very honest, your socio-economic status doesn't really affect your access, because those of us who are in the mental health profession, we are in the profession because we understand how important it is. And it's important not just to the top tier people, but to people on the grassroots level as well. So any consultancy or any organization that you normally have, which provides mental health services, they will have a slab where they provide these services at a very good economical rates to the grassroots levels. This is where we ask the organizations, the companies to come forward, right? So everybody, they are running on a tight budget as normal citizens, right? So we are running on a tight budget. So how it works is, when you go to mental health, you call it as counseling sessions, therapy sessions, or even you can go to naturopathy sessions, right? The thing about these sessions is, one session is not going to bring you back to normalcy. Overnight, magic won't happen. It is going to take, let us say, a week or so. So you need to give that commitment to your therapist, whoever it is who's working with you, while the therapist is working with you. Now, this will also require a financial commitment. So if maybe as an organization, as a firm, or as a company, you probably have a system in place where you give your employees access to these kind of services, it becomes much easy. Because by the time our clients come to us, they have come to us as the last resort. What does that mean? I have a problem, I will first go talk about it to my friend over a cup of coffee. That person will give me some advice out of a lot of good intention. But please understand, when you talk to a normal person about your issues, not that you should not, but they will give you suggestions and techniques based on their experience. It is not based on your problem. So when you go to a professional, they analyze your problem and tailor make a solution for you. So this obviously requires years of study, which we all have put in, and it also requires certain expertise. So there are consultancies, there are organizations like this which provide these services at a very good cost for people of a lower economic status as well. And this is where I would like to urge the companies, the other industries, to please come forward and have a regular mental health regime as a part of your industry experience. We all have appraisals, right, in company for promotions, how good somebody is. You need to have an added element to it of finding out how happy your employee is. If your employee is happy, they are trainable. If you can train an employee and make that person better, you will gain loyalty from there. So your attrition rates will come down. So if I'm talking from a technical standpoint, it is a joint effort of not just the individual, but also the workplace of the individual. The Indian government already has a lot of laws in place for this, but we need to act on them and make it a reality. So mental health resources are actually not out of reach, but I would definitely like to warn you on one thing. Who you go to for therapy matters. If you're going to somebody who has done a crash course in counseling last 15 days, 30 days, it is your risk. Please make sure you do a background research or find out who your therapist is. It's very simple. If you're buying a sari, you are in South India, right? Yeah. So you're buying saris, you're buying silk sari. What do? How long do you take to find out if it is real silk, real zari or not? You put a lot of effort, right? When you're joining a company, you do a lot of effort to find out what the background of the company is. Do the same thing for your therapist, for your counselor as well. There are a lot of people who are fantastic with their marketing, but not that good with service. So please check on credentials. Once you check on credentials, I guarantee you the profession is filled with actual good people who are ready to extend help at a very, very good price. So this general myth that is there, mental health is out of reach if you don't have the money. No, it is a myth. It's not real, right? So it's all about the amount of effort you put also that matters.
Thank you. Thank you. We have reached to the fag end of this discussion. This topic is very wide and we can discuss it for 2 more hours also. But I would like to stop here because our guests and delegates are also have to formally close this conference. And before that, I definitely would like to thank all the esteemed panelists who had really addressed in a better manner how to manage the stress. I always say that the spelling of stressed and deserts is same, the words are same, and it is exactly opposite. If you write stressed in a ulta this thing, you will get the deserts. So it is a journey of getting stressed to the deserts, and all the panelists have helped us in really knowing us, letting us know that how to enjoy the deserts of in our life instead of having stressed life. We have not only discussed about the negative things which are happening out of the lifestyle diseases, I would say, and the mental well-being, but how to manage it, what are its effects, and those effects can even hamper our personal lives, the individual lives. It is not only the social or the corporate or the other lives which we live, it is the individual life which we are having. Just like the lifestyle diseases which can be reversed, this thought process of having stressed feelings every now and then out of the situation which are out of our control, how to get our life into the control and how to master our thoughts. All these techniques which we discussed today with all the panelists will definitely help us in mastering those techniques and making our living better for all of us. With these, I thank you, all the panelists, for finding the time and ensuring that the Fit Body, Fit Mind initiative of our ICSI is getting more and more deep-rooted through such seminars and conferences, which we at ICSI always value for our members and their families. Thank you.
Thank you, Pawan Chatakji, for moderating the session. Now it's time to thank our speakers of the session by handing over the mementos. I would like to request our immediate past president, CS Manish Gupta ji, to kindly come over to the dais and hand over the memento to Shri Shri Bhaktavranda Dasa Guruji. Thank you. I would like to request Central Council member CS Rajesh Tarparaji to kindly come over the dais and hand over the memento to Dr. Vasudha Sharma. Thank you. I would like to request CS Devika Satyanarayana, Vice Chairman, Bangalore Chapter of ICSI, to kindly hand over the memento to Dr. Anisha Mahendrakar. Thank you. Thank you all the speakers and moderator for this session. Before moving on to the next session, we have two announcements to make. The one is Vaidehi Super Speciality Hospital is offering a free medical checkup at the venue. All the members are requested to kindly take the advantages of it. And then the second announcement is Desk Technologies. They are coming up with a lucky dip, and I would like to request after this group photo, can they please join on the stage along with immediate past president CS Manish Gupta ji, who can perform the lucky dip and announce the winners.
Request the Central Council members to kindly come for the group photo. Yeah. Soon after this, we'll have the lucky draw conducted by DES. A big round of applause to all the speakers, one of the deepest topics of our life. Thank you all so much for actually this conclusion, which is so meaningful. Thank you so much. Over to Vishwas.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to request the representatives from Desk Technology to kindly come over the dais, and I would request volunteers to help them out in handing over the goodies. Yeah, so we are going ahead with the first winner. एक कार्ड निकाल दो सर उसमें से. The first winner is TJ Suma from LIC. Request the winner to kindly come over the dais and collect the goodies from Desk Technologies and the guests here. Moving on to the identifying second winner. The second winner is Lakshmi Ratnam, Company Secretary. We are identifying the third winner. CS Kalaivani S.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we come to the conclusion. And before we request our Secretary ICSI, Shri Ashish Mohan, to kindly propose the vote of thanks, I, on behalf of Bengaluru chapter, who had started off the session with the inauguration, would like to personally, as well as on behalf of the Bengaluru chapter, would like to place on record my sincere thanks to all of you who have gathered here online as well as on the physical mode. A big, big round of applause to all of you, and thank you so much for making this program a huge success. I now request our Secretary ICSI, Shri Ashish Mohanji, to kindly propose a vote of thanks to all of you. And after this, we will have the lunch and then the farewell to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I know it's a very tough job just before lunch, but it's also a part of the process that I have to propose this vote of thanks. Must say that we are at now the conclusion of this wonderful second National Women's Conference. And I must say, having been part of many such conferences in the last couple of years, this was one of the best managed conferences. A great round of applause to entire team Bangalore, entire SARC for doing this excellently well, with the support of of course, the HQ team also. Dear friends, we had this national conference. We started it yesterday afternoon with the inaugural session being addressed by Ms. Vibha Padlakar, Managing Director, CEO, and HDFC Life. We had the first technical session on essentials for impactful leadership, followed by embracing technology for ease of compliance. We had excellent panelists and moderators. I'm not naming each one of them for the paucity of time, but I think both these sessions yesterday were excellently dealt with. And later on, evening, we had a very good cultural evening, and where we witnessed a lot of talents amongst us itself, a lot of our members who were good singers, good dancers. All kudos to the entire team for making that happen. We began our day today with the third technical session, which dealt with significant role of women directors and company secretaries in corporate sphere. And the last session, the wonderful session which we had just now, which dealt with importance of mental health and work-life harmony for well-being. Dear members, the outcome of this, one of the great takeaways which we have out of the entire conference is definitely how to inspire women. Leadership is always there, but one of the great takeaway which in both these days which came out is how all of us have a responsibility to frame an ecosystem for making sure to ensuring that women enter into this leadership sphere. I think that is one of the biggest takeaways which we have. We as men also have great responsibility in ensuring that. With these words, members, I would also like to thank our sponsors, Desk Technologies Meetings. We have Life Insurance. We also thank Life Insurance Corporation of India, NASDAQ. We also had all of many other sponsors. We also take great pride, and we also thank the hospitality given by the Sheraton Grand Hotel, Bangalore. We thank the entire team ICSI for supporting this. Team ICSI means the employees at the HQ, at the Bangalore chapter, at the SIRC for making this conference a grand success. We also thank the entire council, and the program director, the program director C.S. Dwarkanath ji in particular, the program coordinator Sri Pradeep Kulkarni ji, chairman SIRC, the program facilitator C.S. Venkata Subbarao Kalva, for making sure that this conference is a grand success. I personally thank the entire Bangalore chapter, specifically led by the chairman C.S. Venkat. I will require the Bangalore chapter team, if you can come over the stage. C.S. Venkata Subbarao Kalva, chairman. C.S. Devika Satyanarayana, vice chairman. Especially special thanks to her for navigating the session along with the entire team throughout these 2 days. C.S. Vishwas Hegde, secretary. C.S. Prasanna Kumar Bedi, treasurer. C.S. B. Hemanath, member. C.S. Parmeshwar Bhatt, member. C.S. Vivek Hegde, member. I think all of you are here. And the ex-officio members, of course, Mr. Dwarkanath ji and Pradeep Kulkarni. Mr. Vishwas, where are you? If you are here, I'll call. And Noor, especially, we cannot miss you. I also would love to invite the RD SARO. Prabir, are you here? So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You were all great, and I think you have made it. And this conference is one of the greatest successful conference which we had of recent times. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I thank the entire council again, once again, the president, the vice president, the former president Manish Gupta ji here for making this a grand success. I thank all the. I also, yeah. How can you be left out? Please, I'll come, madam, come. I also would love to call upon the team SIRC, all the regional council members, please. I think we must give them a big round of applause because these were men and women who actually worked behind the scenes. And this was the first of the kind of experiment we did in the institute, because this is the first year where the national program was actually decentralized, and it is the SIRC team which has done the hard work. Though, of course, Madam Alka has also done a lot of work from the HQ, but the team at Bangalore and SIRC has taken the great responsibility. I must say, must compliment that you have done a wonderful job. I thank you, all of you, for making this conference a great success, and I also thank specifically all the people who are attending this conference virtually, and all of you together, and all the guests here have made this conference a grand success. So I, again, on behalf of the Institute, also would love to invite all of you to Ayodhya on June 14th and 15th. We have got the Silver Jubilee of our Practicing Secretaries Conference. The 25th PCS conference is scheduled to be at Ayodhya, which was released yesterday. So invite you all to the great land of Ayodhya. So let's all meet there, and also look for